I don't have to talk. Okay, that looks good.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. District 1, Councilman Rios.
Present.
District 2, Councilman Pastor is excused. District 3, Councilman Latham is excused. District 4, Vice Mayor Stapleton.
Here.
District 5, Councilman Gonzalez.
Here.
District 6, Councilman Shipley.
Here.
Mayor Guerrero.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Shelley. Renetta, can you send an invocation?
Happy to do so. Dear Lord, thank you we could be here together tonight to do the city's business. Just want to do an extra prayer for all those people who dedicate themselves to the community, to make our community a better place to live, to give us fun things to do, and for all those people, professionals that dedicate their lives to helping people in our community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mariano, we'll start with you.
Just a comment on First Friday, even though it was 2 weeks ago, it was such an enjoyable time to see the entire downtown district being utilized all the way up to the Pasco Stairs. Really pleased with city staff and everyone turned out for that. And really pleased to see that for the First Friday. And I hope it continues throughout the summer. It's been really, really interesting. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Renetta.
Actually, I have a couple of things. One of my friends from high school, from Mesa High, called me and said, "Do you know the Leverences?" And I said, "Yes, I know the Leverences." Well, this is what he sent me. "Thank you so much for your support of Madison Leverance as she begins her career in the sport of bull riding. Madison Leverance has been on a hot streak over the last month, winning her weekly jackpot competitions for the last 4 weeks straight. She is a member of the Southern Arizona Junior Bull Riders Association, where she's currently competing in both steer and bull riding events. She will be competing in the 2023 Youth Bull Riders World Finals in Abilene, Texas, August 2nd to the 8th. At 15 years old, this Globe, Arizona native is currently looking for sponsors to raise the $2,500 in entry fees and travel costs for her trip. And so, if anybody would like to support that, I do have a number. The organization that's trying to help her, which is my friend, is mpl.bullriding@gmail.com, and or you can contact her father Jacob at 928-961-2196. So, that's an amazing feat, and it'd be wonderful to have her do well. Just getting there is amazing, so we wish her the best. The other is the personal one. So, I've always run around doing everything, never stop, and everybody tells me I'm super, super healthy. And on Friday, May 5th, I went in to have a CT scan, and I was supposed to hike Arizona Trail on Saturday, the next following day. And it turned out I had a 90% blockage on every coming out of my car. And they said, you are not hiking this Saturday. You're not doing anything this weekend. And when I went in on Monday to do the stint, I was 99.9% blocked. And I would have surely died on that trail. So I'd like to say a special thanks to Cobra Valley Regional Medical Center for all the services that they provide. Dr. Asumi, who decided he's going to look at it right then and there and decided I was not hiking. Dr. Lehman, who did the procedure. And so I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So thank you to Cobra Valley Regional Medical Center. And thank you to all the people that reached out and it was very nice. Thank you. And that's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Chairman. Trey?
Thank you, Mayor. Fernando, I didn't realize that, but I want to wish you all the best. And I'm glad that you did go see the doctor and they were able to take care of it. So sincerely, my best wishes. A couple other things. I was, first, with my professional business, I deal with water in the communities. And again, we had a structure fire in the Claypool Central Heights area. I just want to commend our little fire department for the action that they took. I was on scene for a bit just to secure some things that were creating a situation regarding water. But they performed remarkably. Chief Robinson, again, hats off to you and your staff. Just watching them work and the coordination they had with Tri-City and able to keep the structure fire as minimal as possible. So congratulations again. Serving our community. The other thing is, on an exciting note, as you know, our swimming pool is just about ready. I'm waiting for the word. We're waiting for our city manager to say the word going. We can't quite get it out of him yet, but it's just right around the corner. I can feel it, and this is such an exciting time. So stay posted. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Chris. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a few things. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the Gulf Police Department. They had an outstanding open house on Saturday.
Yes, it did.
It was really cool. I've been there before, but I only have one complaint. I got there late, I didn't get any from son.
I was there, they offered it.
You were there.
So was I.
Yeah. So anyhow, it was a really good turnout, so I want to thank everybody, especially Jay, if you can pass that on. Chief, thank you. And then we only have one other thing, Globe High School graduates Thursday night. I believe it's at 5 or 7, I can't remember. And anyhow, there's about 143 kids graduating from Globe. So
Fantastic.
7:30, you're gonna see your tickets. So if you can make it, that'd be really cool to support those kids. That's all I have here.
Thank you, Mike. I did taste the award-winning party.
You did?
Yeah, I enough for you, so it was good.
Thanks for saving me.
I got a few things I'll go through rapidly. As we know on our agenda that we were supposed to have Representative David Cook here tonight to explain some of the funding that went through the state and some of the bills they're working on. Unfortunately, had to cancel, and we'll reschedule him again, either the next meeting or the following one. Some of the things he was going to discuss, just so you're aware of, as when the governor signed the budget this year, they put in $3.5 million for our JSA's sidewalk project. That'll put sidewalks from the New Connie Bridge all the way to Community Center, I think all the way to the college, I'm assuming. So that's a big project. That's something that our staff has been after for maybe a couple of years now that I know of, and it's finally in the budget. There's also an additional $1.2 million for bridge projects that was put in there. And that's on top of the $2.8 million that we were awarded from ADOT to replace Cottonwood Bridge in the future. So all that is coming to fruition on more projects. They also put in the state budget $250,000 to the food bank, $250,000 for the youth in our in Globe. So a lot of good things came out of there. Unfortunately, they're still working in session, trying to pass 90 more bills. I don't know how long they'll be in session, they are in recess for 2 weeks. So I don't know, there are some bills that we aren't for, that'll affect, different things in our communities. We have so many projects going on. Freddie mentioned the pool, and I was there, I think it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they finally put the bulkhead in the pool, and it was a game of inches. So if anybody did a wrong measurement on there, it wouldn't fit into that thing. But it was amazing to see that in there. Just another step moving forward, hopefully getting close to opening that pool. I also went to the bathrooms at the community center, and if you haven't seen them, they're amazing. And I'll tell you what, it was I had talked to John, Richard, and their crew. They're the ones that did the remodel of the bathrooms there at the community center, and they really look amazing. They did a heck of a job. I hope people don't go in there and try and destroy them. We're watching you. Just beware, there's cameras. So take care of all the projects that are going on. We have bridges, Veterans Park out here. We finally got our teepee covered. I just want to thank this council for their vision and their goals that they've set for this community. They're amazing, but it really isn't us, it's our staff. I want to thank our staff for helping us reach those goals. Thank you to Public Works, their supervisors, to engineers, down to the labor. You guys have been busy going. There are so many projects going on in this community. Our development services, with all the meetings and stuff going on with investors and developers wanting to come to our community. And there's so much more to accomplish. We need to continue to raise the levels higher as we move forward. We reach one goal, let's raise another one. We've got so much work to do still. Again, open house, first Fridays were amazing. I think that's the biggest crowd I see first Friday. We couldn't find a parking place. Even the car club got booted out, so there's no room. So it was good. That's a good thing. And just a reminder, Memorial Day this weekend, remember our services. And one other thing I want to say also is that I know we're going to talk about the pool. It's on the agenda. I want to give, Paul never gets kudos for anything. But I know I always have a lot of questions. I'm always wanting him to get his answers, and he does that. I know that he's really been really active and above and beyond what's happening with everything else, but trying to get this pool to open. So he's done a heck of a job. I think he's had 80 meetings. I can see the stress level in him. So I want to just thank you for being diligent and trying to get it. And whatever happens when it happens, it's what we're looking for. That's all we're waiting for.
He's only 32 years old.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, the pool has been a strong focus, and we've been working so long getting down to the nitty-gritty here. So many things are just that close, and we all everybody's pulling together. Again, from all staff, Public Works, from all our city, but even the contractors who are going above and beyond, and three groups of people. Tammy, the pool engineer. Actually, there's a gentleman named Luke at Arizona Department of Water Quality that we've been communicating with. Okay, I don't know if you know. But I'm interested. Yeah, and then Evan Schmidt, the new health department health inspector, and he's been in daily contact with myself. And by the way, Walt's really getting work on this week. He's getting my stress levels up. So Walt's the bringer of brings me down to reality, says, be careful about that. So, and anyway, we're all pulling together to get this to the community, and we're really excited. So thanks, Mary.
Yeah, thank you, Walt. I've left you out of there, but I know you've done a lot of work there. I seen you today running around there on the phone. So next we have first community call to the public, and I don't have any, do we have any line or?
I don't see anything. No.
No, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Special presentations, I would entertain a motion that we table item A, is the state representative David Cook will update the council on legislative funding.
I move to table.
Second. We have a motion to second to table item A, special presentations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Consent calendar. Consent calendar is matter listed under the consent calendar considered to be routine and be enacted by one motion and one vote. Public hearing items are designated with an asterisk. Prior to consideration of the consent agenda, the mayor will ask whether any member of the council wishes to remove a public hearing item for separate consideration. Members of the council and or staff may remove any item for separate consideration. We have item A, consideration of waiver of section 2-4-10A. Prior discussion rules to allow action on the balance of the consent agenda. Item A1, accounts payable, $1,155,505.60. 2, consideration of approval, council minutes. 2A, February 28, 2023 minutes. 2B, May 9, 2023 minutes. And item B is consideration to appoint Allison Forrest and Luann Rickett to the library committee. Do we have anybody from the public, staff, or council who wishes to move any of these items separately?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, Luann Rickard is here in the audience, so I don't think Allison's here.
Welcome, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if there are no other comments or questions, I motion that we accept the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the consent agenda as read. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Any abstaining? Motion passed. Go to new business, 5A, consideration of a contract agreement with Hill Street School LLC for the off-site public improvement associated with the Hill Street redevelopment project located at 435 South Hill Street. A request to waive section 2-4-10A prior discussion rule. Do we have Dana online?
You do. Thank you so much, Mayor, council members. Appreciate you considering this contract agreement this evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Very good, thank you. So as the agenda item in the staff report explains, this is the purpose of this agreement is to allow for to make the site improvements necessary surrounding the project that are necessary for the site to function with our adjacent right of ways, being Hill Street, just the minor improvements, sidewalk improvements on Maple. We have some new curbing, protecting some on-street parking spaces, as well as landscaping and new sidewalk. And then along Denver Road is the more significant improvement where we have perpendicular parking spaces, as well as the trash enclosure to service the property, landscaping, sidewalk, and some utility improvements as well. So the city's code, city code, requires that any of those off-site improvements be contracted by city council, and that's why this item is before you. The subsequent permit that will be associated to the site improvements this evening is a right-of-way permit that we issue that includes all the construction insurance bonds to ensure that if should something happen to the construction process, the project sits, we have the ability to go let's finish off-site or city improvements as well. Also there to provide us with insurance, obviously, and when we have that certificate. So with that, I have responded to any questions or details to the off-street right-of-way improvements that's associated with this contract. Staff is recommending approval.
Questions, Dana? Go ahead.
This is Councilman Craig Rios. I understand you have a performance bond. Is a payment bond not required in a situation like this?
I'm sorry, what's that type of bond?
A payment bond.
Payment bond? No, typically it would like this, but the new subdivision were to come in, it would be construction insurance for performance bond. that we require. And that's it, that's itemized in our right-of-way permit section of the code, but that's the only bond that's referenced. And it specifically references the contract for you.
Okay, thank you.
Dana, there's nothing new that, different than the initial design that we have reviewed from the beginning of this, on these improvements, and I don't think there's anything different that I saw. As far as the upgrades department and all that.
David, did you do the mayor?
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Dana, these improvements that are requested for bid for, they're nothing different than the initial design that we reviewed with this application.
No, correct, I'll quickly share, excuse me. This is the, fencing location, the lead line that identifies where the construction fencing is located. And to your question, correct, it's virtually, some of our parts may be shifted around along the road for the most part. And then we have the utility transformers, APS transformers located right in this location with landscaping, to help screen around to whatever extent APS will allow. Other than that, they have the trash book shown here in terms of that road. It's all just greater detail. And there's a bit of a change there, as you know, as you approach the section of the road in Hill Street. So, yeah, it's been step walls for the building. It's a good overall design, I think. Yeah, so no surprises to the citizens of Wyoming.
Dana, this is for Manuel. Will the building, will there be a fence on the main side, or will the building just be
And then that's after completion?
Yeah.
No fence along Maple. It'll be a building, landscaping, and sidewalk. And as you know, right now, there is a retaining wall along that, on the back sidewalk there, where the existing fences now.
Yeah.
So that's because of that grade change from Ash to Maple Street. So they've negotiated somewhat, but there's a wall on the building, so yeah, they say the building, wall plane come right down to grade, and with a landscape, planter, in between the curves, you see that shown right here. But no fence, the only fence proposed is, so this is that area we were just discussing, they're draining water out, and they have scuppers to put inside the sidewalk. The only fence is a 3-foot fence, iron fence, located along, the Hill Street frontage to help organize the public area, or the resident open space area there. And then right here along frontage, or at the entrance of the existing Hill Street School, is the plaque, and a bench, two bench locations there, as well as one of our downtown historic light standards, to help to provide a reflection area and provide listing or explanation of the significance of the Hill Street School building. And again, that's just a sentence that along from here, and there's openings. It's a soft edge, if you will, to the right of way.
Mayor, I would move to approve the public improvement agreement for Hill Street School Development Project with the following condition approval. Submit construction insurance bond in the amount and form as acceptable to the city engineer prior to the right-of-way permit issuance and to waive the entire discussion.
Second. Motion second for item 5A. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Any abstaining? Motion passes. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Item 5B, consideration to adopt resolution 1874 to accept the dedication of right-of-way along the portion of South Jet Station Road in the vicinity of the West Ridge Drive intersection, and request to waive section 2-4-10A prior discussion rule. Shelley, can you read resolution 1874, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution number 1874, a resolution of the Mayor and Council of the City of Globe, County of Gila, State of Arizona, providing for acceptance of certain property for public right-of-way purposes and authorizing the mayor to execute documents to complete said acceptance. Is council pleased with that reading?
Yes,
Very good. Thank you, Mayor, council members. Being worker, appreciate you hearing your side on this evening. The applicant is available. They have requested to do a lot line adjustment and reorganize some parcels on the West Ridge, off that West Ridge Drive. West Ridge Drive serves south of Jesse Days Boulevard. I will share a screen quickly just to show you the current right-of-way situation and why this is being requested. Oh, and then the need for right-of-way dedications before you in conjunction with their lot line adjustments. So these are the two of the parcels that are involved. This red line identifies the property rights. And this is in your packet. You see West Ridge Drive. It's basically a dirt road. For the most part, it follows, I think, a drainage system, natural possibly drainage system, and has some occasional flooding issues. Anyway, that's not why this is before you. Why this is before you is because if you look at these parcel boundary configurations, we don't do this very often in the community. We do have some awkward right-of-ways. Well, basically, this is Jesse Page Road is the right along that frontage of that property. And obviously, there's a problem with surveying or some historical surveying that took place because we have this, there's probably a section line that ran here, and that was, I think, had something to do with how surveyors were identifying the basis of bearing for surveying the roadway and property surrounding. Anyway, as you can see, things didn't work out too well as reported the county, and as the county GIS maps show, because typical right-of-ways are just a consistent parallel offset lines for the most part in a situation like this, but we don't have that situation. So through the subdivision lot line adjustment process, we identified, okay, we need to clean this up while we're here. Let's go ahead and take care of it now. As Paul mentioned, I think at the beginning of his manager's report, or I'm sorry, you identified that the city, the state has earmarked money for Jesse Hayes sidewalk. Anyway, we recognize there's going to be a bit of improvements along Jesse Hayes Boulevard, including at some point we'll need to address how these right-of-ways align where there's bus. So right now we only have a 30-foot width right here, and as you can see, it's somewhat skewed and offset. The applicant is providing the city with the necessary right-of-way to clean up that side of their frontage through that section, and that's what you see here in the stipple area here is what's proposed to be dedicated and is included in that resolution exhibit, as well as the legal description. So I'll start with a long explanation. This is for the city to receive this right of way, and then move forward recording their lot line adjustment. I'd be happy to respond to any questions, and then obviously staff is recommending approval.
Mr.
Mr. Mayor, I've seen that property, and that looks like a great solution on the road line, so that's great.
Mr. Mayor, I would motion to adopt resolution 1874 and waive section 2-4-10A prior discussion rule.
Motion is second for approval of resolution 1874. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Any abstaining? Motion passes. Thank you, David.
Thank you all.
Item C is consideration to approve resolution 1875, authorizing procurement of an emergency water line repair located at the northeast corridor, providing service to Gila County facility. Shelley, can you read resolution 1875, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution number 1875, a resolution of the Mayor and Council of the City of Globe, County of Gila, State of Arizona, adopting the emergency declaration for the repair of the Northeast Corridor water line and provide service to Gila County facilities that include the Gila County Fairgrounds and Animal Shelter, and is a service line to the City of Globe fire hydrant system by the authority of Section 3-5-14 of the Globe City Code. Is council pleased with that reading?
Yes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight I'm asking you to accept this proposal for a contract. We had an issue out there. We got a phone call from the county. There was a 10-inch HDPE line out there. There was a manufactured fusible T in there. The joint of the T reduces from a 10 to a 6. The weld actually broke. Kind of weird because there's double welds on there that broke, but right there, the T feeds a fire hydrant. And then also the way the drainage, it goes right to our new facility. So we're able to make drainage away from it, and we'd like to fix it with a proper repair of fusing a brand new T in there. Once you break that HDPE open, it kind of starts to move on you because it expands and contracts with the heat and the cold. So if you don't fix it right, it's going to be a problem just continuous down the line. We've seen that already on the other side of the deal that we're trying to repair. So we just want to fix it right the first time instead of fighting for years.
How big a section is that into this?
It's well, from one end to the other, it's only like 6 feet, but he's gonna have to cut back, and it's gonna be a total of 20 feet.
Is there a T there, or is it just a straight line? Straight line?
No, there is a T there, and there was a fused T in the beginning, but it's over time. I don't know how long it's been.
It's been approximately 27 years. That line was put in when I actually started with the city.
So it's been there for a while, and just finally finally.
So is it currently leaking now, or is it controlled right now?
It's controlled.
Yeah. Mr. Mayo, obviously I understand that kind of work and that kind of material. It is difficult to work with and difficult to contain, so hopefully at some time it will get replaced.
Friday, he's coming in Friday morning to replace it.
With the same product? So you're gonna come back with HDPE?
Yes,
Just cut a piece in?
yes.
Councilman, Mayor, and Council, just to add on to that, this is one of the lines where we've met through our infrastructure projects and outlining having some design work from this. This is a line that goes from the ADOT yard all the way to the fairgrounds. So we have, it is in the works. We actually have had a new budget to possibly design and replace, because we're often talking about the Northeast Corridor and expansion. So this is one of the main purposes is to make this repair now. And what it was is when it was leaking on Friday, that's what our worry was, is that it might blow out. And like we said, Grid said, we've got a new facility there right below it. We don't want to flood the facility for any means. So our staff actually went in there and did the repair, but we know it's a short-term repair. And we didn't want to go over the weekend because it was actually on Friday. So that's why we wanted to be in an emergency so we could get the staff to get that in there and get it fused. Our staff, and actually it was hard getting parts. So you need stiffeners in there, and those weren't available, not for a few weeks, it was almost 2 weeks out. So our staff went in there and did the temporary fix that we have done in the past, but we know it's a temporary fix. So we're trying to make sure that we avoid that big flood in the middle of the night on the weekend, trying to chase valves and stuff. So that's why we hope to have an emergency.
I'm ignorant when it comes to these things, so, my question would be, is what we're going to replace, is it adequate for future needs, or should we look at doing something slightly different? Or
is this adequate for what we would do?
What this would be adequate for is to maintain, and this is where traditionally, we have not had any issues in this area. All our issues have actually been probably a mile up from the ADOT yard. So when this started leaking, we actually had hoped it was possibly just a service line, a regular service line, and it turned out to be this magnitude. So speaking with contractors, and even as we discussed before, the longevity and the life cycle of this pipe is getting to the end cycle. So this would be the original, when we look at this replacement, this section would have to be replaced as well as the rest of it. We would probably, and the design it a little bit different because the dog pound wasn't out there, the resident, so we could probably, even with the add-on of the fire hydrant, these are areas that's why it actually became a teed-off area as opposed to with the longer runs that we would not want to cluster of, tees and different things. We would have that design incorporated that into our design, so we don't have these clusters like that, because they would become troublesome.
Ready? Follow up. So the animal shelter is the building that potentially is impacted, correct?
It would be, there's actually multiple areas, the prison itself, was also actually feeds off this line, but the one specifically that we're concerned of, because the elevation, this is above where the animal shelter's at. So when we had this possible leak, that guys actually dug a canal so the water would divert. If it actually did blow out in the process, the water would go in a different direction. So there, if you look at the hill where the hydrant's at, I'm sure you've driven out there a time or two, and the shelter sits right below that grade. The parking lot would easily, the water would definitely go down, of course.
Yeah, that's why I was just there 2 days ago, registering my pet. So it's a really nice facility, and I hate to see that be part. Very, very modern facility.
So this isn't a procurement authorization, we're gonna use the emergency repair clause, that is what we're using.
Correct, Mr. Mayor, because of the potential for this to totally fail and who it serves, and the fact that we have a contractor who's very aware of this, worked on this line, familiar, we felt this would be the fastest way to get this resolved. So the procurement, it's under 25,000, right? Yeah, so it would have been 3 bids, we just did the one bid, but it helps expedite everything. There still has to be a contract and other things put in place, but they're very familiar with our process, it's going well.
Mayor, I would move to approve resolution number 1875, authorizing the emergency repair of the water line and services Hilo County Fairgrounds and the animal shelter with stipulation of the staff bringing back the contract to final council approval.
Motion second for approval of resolution 1875. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Any abstaining? Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Just in closing, work is scheduled for Friday, so we will be working on PSA, and then we'll be contacting the prison residents, so they're aware to shut down, that way the prison will fill their water tank through the reservoirs that way they're not having any issues at all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Great.
So if the work's gonna get done right away, why are we looking at the next?
So you approve the emergency resolution, and then with the motion that we're going to bring back the contract when it's done and completed. So there's no need to waive rules, it's not the last time it's going to be here, but we need to have that. The code says the emergency resolution to be brought to council at the first available meeting, which is this one. And so, but it's not the last time.
So the next meeting will ratify the contract.
Yeah, then we'll ratify
Okay,
everything else.
all right.
Next, we have item D. We have discussion and consideration to approve resolution 1877, accepting grant number GO-23-61-49848, a $30,000 grant, national grant award as part of 2023 National Fitness Campaign, and request to waive section 2-4-10A prior discussion. We have Linda. Shelley, can you read resolution 1877?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution number 1877, a resolution to adopt and allocate funds for an outdoor fitness court as part of the 2023 National Fitness Campaign. Is council please present reading?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm covering for Connie tonight. She is having some dental work done, so we're thrilled to bring this to council. Planning worked so hard with staff on this. We're one of a small handful of communities that have this opportunity, and so what we're asking council for tonight is to allow us to move forward to seek additional matching funds so that we may move forward with the development of this type of a fitness site for adults. I think there might be a video queued up.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, there is a 3-minute video that probably explains it a lot better than we can. So.
We're changing the way Americans think about fitness. From college campuses to city parks and trails, we're bringing free fitness everywhere, and we're just getting started. Hi, I'm Mitch Donati, founder of the National Fitness Campaign. The National Fitness Campaign was founded in 1979 when we opened the first fitness court. Redesigned for the 21st century, the fitness court is the world's best outdoor gym. Our 7-movement, 7-minute system allows you to use your own body weight to get the perfect workout. Easy or hard, it will work for you. Our goal is to build healthy communities by making outdoor fitness an essential part of people's lives, so that each day is better than the last. Now more than ever before, it is vital that we move fitness outdoors to remain safe, healthy, and strong.
Mr. Sanders, we can, as soon as we can, go outside, which is one of the reasons why the fitness court was such an attraction. What impressed us most was their basic philosophy that they want to provide world-class fitness for free. Truly, anyone can use it, no matter what your age is, no matter what your physical fitness level is, no matter what your skills are. It is very adaptable.
Thousands of certified ambassadors will be training to deliver classes, challenges, and clinics as part of our National Fitness Campaign. New programs are bringing students outdoors across America. The fitness court mobile apps are able to enroll in these programs. Simply scan the digital wall with your phone to access library free workouts designed to optimize your experience on the fitness court. Learn the moves and take challenges of PDT to create impact for our partners across America. This year, we are thrilled to introduce Fitness Court Public Art. Cities have the opportunity to select local artists to design their fitness court using the power of the arts and fitness outdoors in iconic public spaces. We're proud to have helped cities of all sizes raise millions of dollars from our respected sponsors to support free fitness. Wherever fitness is a priority, you can find a fitness. We're partnering with large cities using urban movement data to map the best locations for healthy infrastructure. We're bringing fitness courts to within 10 minutes of population centers everywhere.
They provide these wraparound services that from the city's perspective, that's what you want in a partner like this. You want it to come presented to you on a silver platter with a low tiger around it. They're one of the best partners, I think, that I personally have ever worked with.
We serve almost 1.2 million members across Michigan. And this partnership really is an opportunity for us to bring scalable, free health and wellness opportunities to our community. So I would actually invite cities and organizations, big and small, to explore the opportunity to invest in the fitness courts. To be very honest with you, the feedback from different municipalities and communities is very positive.
We're committed to raise $150 million to bring the campaign to 1,000 cities and schools, building the largest fitness movement in the world. Join us. Let's make world-class fitness free.
You mentioned that additional funds, because obviously that's more than $30,000 project. Is that what you guys, this is just the beginning of that too?
Correct. We would be moving forward to seek an additional $30,000 to implement this project. And this allows us to develop 35 by 35 fitness tab with all of the equipment that we've seen shown. And it's adjustable to what we see our community needs and demand are being, and I have to say, Shelby and Lisa, this looks a lot like what we do. So I think that current classes here in town, I think this is just going to be a huge draw for our community members. This movement has actually become like a tourism marketing campaign as well. So those that utilize that app and the fitness centers, there's a movement to kind of follow the development of these fitness sites. So it's also a draw for our community, or excuse me, tourism traffic that are looking for a healthy outing and really wanting to see what other communities are doing this as well. And so this is again to be free to the public to work out, and all the posted information would be part of the beautiful aesthetics. We'd be working with a local artist to do the rendering, so it really contributes to our mural movement. It does not need to be monitored, but that it stays maintained as beautiful as you do see. And we've identified the location to be at the community center by the tennis courts. It's a perfect size, location. It just really contributes to the recreation center that we're focusing on developing. And so that we are going to ask to please pass the resolution to accept this $30,000, and we're moving forward to find the additional matching funds. Any other questions?
I have a comment. I understand why that location. The only thing is that, I mean, if that development goes through and there's 80 houses there, or 70, whatever it ends up being, that would be nice. There's not a lot of homes there that you could just walk to there. And so I'm just kind of like, if it were somewhere more centrally located, more people could just walk there and use it and walk back. And so that would be my only kind of thing. I understand why. The space is there, it would be a good size, it's, you already own it. Yeah, there's a lot of good reasons, but it would be nice if it was closer to where housing.
And we did address that with their site selection team, because that was actually one of the criteria that needed to be met. And the anticipated development of Reyes Ridge checks that box. And also all of the traffic that convenes into this location our fields are utilized year round. So even though neighborhood traffic, just the walking traffic may not occur right away, just the ancillary traffic, parents dropping their kids off to practice their games, and then they can go get in a quick workout. So we really see this being a highly utilized addition to our recreational amenities.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 1877, accepting a $30,000 grant award from the National Fitness Campaign and request waiver rule.
Second.
We have a motion and second for approval of resolution number 1877. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Any opposing? Abstaining?
Thank you.
Good job.
Item E, council will consider the employee benefit package and approve the 2024 employee contribution schedule for healthcare coverage provided by Blue Cross Blue Shield, and authorize the city manager to sign a renewal contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield, MetLife, Vision Service Plan, and Mutual of Omaha after the approval with city attorney and funding to be approved as part of the fiscal year 23-24 budget adoption process. Paul.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, as you're aware, we worked in the council work groups with this and with Tina Allen, who has been our budget advisor. Tina, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so this is the presentation we saw at the work group, and Tina, I will toss it to you if you want to go through and explain kind of briefly where we're going.
Okay, if you'll just move the slides when I need you to.
Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity to discuss this with you and to present this proposal to you. Blue Cross Blue Shield increased our premium costs by 4.5% this year on the estimated number of employees and the employee selections that we have currently. That was an increase of $91,938. That proposal includes just the healthcare benefits. There was no increase in the life and the vision. Those plans are staying the same, so we're only going to be talking about the healthcare right now. The goal for the council, the stated goal is to continue to move towards increasing the employee benefit share for those with dependent coverage. There was a goal a couple of years ago that was set to increase that slowly by 2% each year until you reach a targeted goal of 33%. With that in mind, because of the additional increase in costs as well, the proposal is to use a portion of the $415,000 in retention savings to buy down the 4.5% increase. When we do that, and we then continue to move towards the goal of the employees picking up slightly larger portion of the dependent care costs, it makes the impact more favorable to the employees, makes the increase less stark. With no increase then in the insurance premium overall, the city would see a savings of about $49,000, and that is the difference of those employees just picking up that increased care for dependent care coverage. Go to the next slide. The changes to the HMO and PPO plans we'll discuss first. About 50%, more than 50% of the employees have a PPO plan selection, and about 35% have an HMO selection. So those are the ones that the majority of the employees participate in. These are the increases. You'll notice that on the HMO single rate, there is no increase at all. And the reason for that is that they are already at the 15% participation rate. They pay 15% of the premium. That is the city's goal for single coverage. So there was the increase you would have seen would have been 4.5% there, but it's nothing because of the buy down. And then the other ones are increased from 6.8% to what's the highest, 17.5% for the percentage of increase. And you can see what the prior rates are and what the new per pay period rates are for each of those plans. Finally, there's the high deductible plan. And when I looked at this originally and your plan last year for each proposal, last year the high deductible health savings account plan was really overly subsidized by the city previously. You had $1.76 for a employee premium, which is just not truly realistic. And so those were all taken to a 10% contribution rate. Again, other plans are at 30 and 15% for single coverage and as high as 28% for benefit coverage. So we thought we'd start with getting all of these a little straightened out to a 10% participation rate for the employee premiums. So as a percentage, it looks like a lot because it is going up, but it is still the least expensive plan for employees. I think you have 5 to 7 employees on this plan. But it's still, if they're choosing based on premium cost only, it will continue to be the lowest cost plan for the employees. I think that was pretty much everything. If you have any questions.
And Tina, the last slide, you're not familiar with this as much, but this is the slide, or this is the, what is being prepared for the open enrollment on Thursdays. This is what traditionally employees see in the way of the breakdown on this. So it shows total breakdown, including dental, vision, life, and we still are adding, if you do select the HD plan, we still put $500 in, Tina, is it FSA or HSA?
HSA.
HSA.
So single coverage would get $500 a year, plus one would get $1,000 a year, and plus two would be $1,500.
So that
I'm sorry that.
Go ahead, Tina.
I was just saying that previous slide was showing the savings that you get. I realize that wasn't the premium cost, the high deductible plan. That shows how much you save in premiums on the high deductible plan over the cost of an HMO or a PPO plan. That was the same kind of savings slide rather than the premium cost.
So, Mr. Mayor, I think you were part of the work group that talked about this in Councilman Rios, and Councilman Shipley. Any comments? You had we had more conversation, but again, you're trying to lessen the burden on the employees, let them move towards that funding of the +1 and the family to the 33% with the employees. And we made, as we've had in the past 2 years, we made a goal of 2% each year, and this lives up to that council goal. But the buy down helps control that cost, the 4.5% total cost of Blue Cross Blue Shield will not be burdened on the employees.
Just to explain a little better, I guess, the HMO or the PPO has a 2% increase to finally go ahead, which is the one.
If they, not all of them have a 2% increase, it's the HMO single has no increase. But the PPOs do, I can go back to the
So
slide.
it's PPO, we're trying to, that it's increasing the 2% to try and catch up to the
Yes.
equalize with the HMOs.
Yeah, the burden on the employee contributions on the HMOs are much heavier. And they're closer to the goal of 32% on the employee, the PPO is making its way there.
So an HMO employee will see no increase, because the 4.5% increase will be covered by our savings.
The HMO single, no increase because we're buying that down. And because they've already reached the match on where they should be with the employee contribution, there's no increase there. All the increases that in HMO and TPO are seeing are strictly because of the attempt to get us to that 32% goal for +1 and family. Of a split between the city pays 66% and the employer pays 30% when we're bringing families in.
So instead of a 6.5% increase, they're going to see a 2% somewhere.
The HMO single will see nothing because they're already out of things.
So one thing, a few things I would say. One is we're very fortunate to be actually with Siegel because we're not normally big enough to be with them, and they took us in way back when, and we were very lucky to have them. Otherwise, we would not be able to negotiate these kind of prices.
Yeah, they got us down, I think we were 7 or 8, I don't remember. But they got us down to 4.5. Once again, every year they go back for us.
And medical inflation is a lot higher than 4.5%. And so, but if all of the employees just utilize healthcare in a smart way, we can keep our claims down, and that will help us with our rates. And so, I know you can't always avoid it, but just whatever you can makes a big difference. But it's hard to ever vote to raise what it costs our employees, but we have to, we have to be fiscally responsible. And so this is, I think, the most modest that we could be and still go in the right direction.
And Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we still, the high deductible plan, if you're the kind of person that is very aware of your costs and dual shopping and Tina is very much, she's the type of person that is really good about managing that type of thing. If that's your thing, you can, any money you save and do not spend, you, like your deductible or the money they put in, you can carry that forward. There's different ways to utilize that, and we'll have that conversation at open enrollment. So I encourage all staff to take the time, and they get paid to go. So the supervisors and directors can make sure that they have opportunity to go out and see the presentations on Thursday for the open enrollment. And then you got some time. We're a little bit ahead of the curve. We were in June. Last time like the middle of June, we did open enrollment. We're doing this now in May. So it gives everybody a little bit of time to look at the options and weigh them out.
Yeah, I will say that, this council recognized probably 3 years ago that we were heading in the wrong direction with our employee benefits costs. It was getting to a point where it was gonna be extremely difficult to corral that and bring it back to some sort of standard, insurance plan and, you know, our employees have great insurance benefits. But bringing that 33%, that standard 33% to 66.7 or whatever, 67%. You know, we've been kind of chipping away at that for the last 3 years. And I know that 3 years ago, we would sit here in a council meeting and get hit with, okay, here's what you got. What do you want to do? And you got to make a decision right now. At least it felt that way. And so with the process that we've got in place now and the committee that we have and being able to kind of ride this wave of how we're going to manage it every single year, because we don't know what the cost increase will be from year to year. One thing for certain, it's going to be an increase. I don't think it's ever going to be less than a premium. I would hope, but it's not likely. And we're very fortunate to be able to have, I can't remember the name of the fund that the first we have, that 400,000. Just be able to take a portion of that, buy down the insurance increase and not put such a heavy burden on our staff. So I think this is a very smart plan for this year. Again, we have to deal with this every single year. It changes every year. But we're still on target. We're still riding that goal that we have to bring those 67% to fruition and make it across the board. And at this point, I think this is the best way to go for this year. It shows that the city is still caring about its employees and not providing a heavy lift on them, because they already do a heavy lift just working for the city. So I think it's incumbent upon us to really do them a good service as well.
And just tagging on to Freddie, I really appreciate the process we have now with the work groups that spend a little more time than just coming to the last minute here in the full council to try and do that. There was a long discussion with the help of Tina and many options that we're looking at, and being conscious about the city, but also being conscious about our employees. We really didn't want to put a full burden on them, so using that buy down and decreasing that burden, I think, yeah, you're right, Freddie, I think this is the best option that we have right now. But it did take a lot of discussion and meetings to get to this point, to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
So Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the approval tonight is to approve these numbers, and they'll be used to build the budget as we go forward to the 23-24 budget. But also you'll be authorizing the signing of the contract. We have the contract at the 4.5% increase. The contract was not ready for the meeting, so you'll be authorizing myself to sign after approval by the city attorney.
Mr. Mayor, no other comments or questions? I motion to approve the 2024 employee contribution schedule for healthcare coverage provided by BCES and authorize the city manager to sign employee healthcare contracts after the approval of the city attorney.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on item 5E. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Any abstaining?
Tina, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tina.
Council, thank you.
Item F, discussion and consideration to approve resolution number 1876, waiving daily user pass fees for the Globe Community Center pool for the first year of operation, and request to waive section 2-4-10A prior discussion. Shelley, can you read resolution 1876, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution number 1876, a resolution of the Mayor and Council of the City of Globe, Gila County, Arizona, waiving fees for the admission to the Globe Community Center pool for daily use effective May 26, 2023, and setting the date for daily admission fees to be reinstated. Is council through to that reading?
Yes.
So, Mr. Mayor, members of council, this will be the old presentation between Linda and myself. We are very close to getting the pool open. We've had some conversations about, and a year ago, we set these fees in place. The fees we have is $1 for person under 18 or over 55, and $2 for adult between 18 and 55 for those fees. In order to build excitement and get people to come in and visit our pool, and to simplify the process, we're looking at asking council to waive those fees. We still will be handing out wristbands. We still kind of need to keep track of who's coming. We definitely need to keep count of who's coming. When we have our swim hours from open swim from noon to 5, we got to make sure that we don't. I think we're going to start with some modest 150, give or take, entrance, and so we have to keep track of that. But I think letting people just come and not having to try to get little kids to scrape together $1 or bring mom's debit card, and we're dealing with that and cash and trying to get tax up and everything like that. Linda, you were on this conversation, the benefits.
What a wonderful gift to give our community, and this really thrills so many of our stakeholders. And actually, it was part of the grant that we wrote to Arizona Complete Health that there would not be a charge to the splash pad, and so this just extends that benefit into the entire facility. So I'm sure that there is chatter going on Facebook right now as we speak. It's already gotten out there, and so 150. We're going to fill that in 10 minutes. So this is so thrilling to be able to put this out into the community and start the marketing. So I'm sure Melissa's already got posts ready to go, and this is what a wonderful win for the community. 2014, was that our last operational year, John? So almost 10 years without a pool. It's just beyond thrilling. There are children in the community that have never been in a swimming pool, have never had the opportunity, and now they will. So.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, just to clarify, the first 30 days that we're open, we're going with this is going to be the trial run for Walt and all the pool managers and lifeguards, and so we're going to limit it to open swim from noon to 5 for the first 30 days, piranha practice in the morning from 7:15 to 8:15, and then piranha meets will happen also. We're not taking any reservations yet for afternoon meets. We have a lot of people who want to do swimming lessons and active adult.
Water aerobics.
Yeah. And so they could do, they could go after 5 and register and reserve the pool, or between the 8:15 and the, say, 11 o'clock. They could do that. They have our schedule figured out. I will say that we will be covering and paying for lifeguards only for the open swim. We've already talked about with the piranhas about their coverage of having lifeguards, even though piranhas are pretty darn good swimmers. You gotta have somebody to keep an eye on them. Anytime, liability-wise, anytime we have anything going on in the pool, we need to have someone trained there. And any additional events, so that we'll have a way for lifeguards to be paid for by the sponsor or the applicant of the special event. Like say, that will burden be on them. And then if we're not waiting in the park, we have, like, if you want to reserve an area for evening or do a special event, those fees are still dependent basis, only for the per person coming in daily. And so we ran the numbers on this. I think we're estimating about 23,000 is the price tag on the loss that we will incur. Although I think there's about 5,000 in savings of things we won't have to do that we can chalk up to having this. So about 17,000 is the cost, and it's not coming out of our pockets. It's just money not going into our pockets this cycle. But, I think it's important, I think it's a good gesture, and, it's 1 year only. Next year we'll come back, that was, I think, the biggest fear is people go, well, last year. So this is the opening year, the thank you back to the community.
Question, Mr. Mayor. Regarding transportation, public transportation, will we be coordinating with Town of Miami's bus line on this?
Yeah, I said, I'm on the local transit, we had a meeting last week, and that was a part of our discussion. They are actively trying to work a schedule from noon for delivery and 5 pickup with the local transit on a daily basis. So they are working on that schedule. Hopefully we'll see something that will bring the kids from Miami, Central Heights, and Claypool to the community center.
The second question I have, Mr. Mayor, is, there's no snack bar per se in place. Will we be working with local food trucks to do some kind of service there?
Linda?
Yes, we will. In fact, we were discussing that today, making that opportunity available, and also to nonprofits. We have several that are really set up to do this and do it well. 4-H being one of them. They actually have a food truck that they operate at venues. We've been contacted by our local food truck operators that would like that opportunity. And just, this is such a big win. We've seen an uptick in food truck activity that we knew about 4 years ago, about 3 or 4, and now we're like at 23. So this is a great opportunity to see that this is also a business incubator for them. Kind of going back to the fees and this being a win, $1 may not seem like a lot, but it is cost prohibitive to some families. And we're actually talking to other funders and stakeholders that would like to develop a program where this free admission could be sustained for a certain number. And again, those qualifications would have to be figured out, but this is something that community stakeholders are very interested in seeing continue.
Sorry, members of council, this is, like I say, on the 30 days, we're building a set of rules. We haven't run a pool for a while. I will say that we're gonna roll out how we manage this pool in the first 30 days, and we will, if we need to change on the fly, we will. If we come out that we're a little on the tight side, then we may loosen up if it's not need be. If it turns out that we're a little on the loose side, we may tighten up to make sure. Number one, my priority is child safety. And we get hammered by that, by both John and Walt and everybody involved, that we make sure. And so we have to be very careful about that. Number 2 is protecting the infrastructure. Number 3 is keeping the ants away. Okay, so you get, we tell you can't bring a sticky soda drink in. That's because we got little kids with ant bites on them the last time. So we'll be working through this, and as we learn from that, we will come back with a set of policies and procedures and kind of the rules of how we're implementing this. Once we have those nailed down, we're gonna do some trial and error here and see how it goes. But again, the priority is safety.
Go ahead, Fernando.
I'm not sure how the splash pad's gonna work. Will it have an on-off button? Because I know it's gonna be accessible to people who just come to the park. Is that correct?
I believe it'll be on all the time.
There is an on-off button downstairs. Downstairs there's an on-off button.
Yeah.
Oh, but it would be some staff that's, so it would be like, it would just be running all day.
Right.
And then people could come and go as they want. It's not like you can push a button and have it come on because you're there.
Correct.
Okay.
Because that does have to be manned by a lifeguard, correct, Walt?
So let me talk a little bit about, we're still hashing out the splash pad situation. We did learn that with the fence we have, a 4-foot fence between the splash pad and the pool, and talking to our oversight people, that is not high enough to allow a splash pad without a lifeguard at the pool. So right now, they're kind of connected. You really can't have a splash pad going without having this lifeguard on there, and if you have a lifeguard there, we're gonna work those out. We're also looking at putting in the budget for next year to raise that fence, because that was, I think, Councilman Shipley, that was one of your hopes, that we would run a splash pad independently. but with the height of the fence we have now, we can't do that through this season. But we're looking at how to make that so it can be a standalone feature, right now. And then there's the going back and forth between the splash pad and the pool. And then you're gonna have the situation where you may have 150 kids in there and 20 lined up. And if you leave, you go get a sandwich in the park, you get to come back in and you get to back in line. And so these are some of the things that we're working, discussing now and trying to figure out the right way to handle this. Luckily, we have Walt, and he's done this before, so these are reality check, this is what will work, but we have not forgotten the goal, and I think it's a very worthy goal, that we've got a standalone splash pad. The parents, when it's not quite warm enough to swim, they come and their kids can play in the water and not have to have a lifeguard.
And the splash pad is also heated? Is that or not?
No,
Or just a pool? Just a pool. Okay. Yeah, I think it'd be an amazing gesture to do that, especially with all the stakeholders that contributed to this project. I think the big question is, and again, I think there's people on, probably on YouTube, we do not have a confirmed date when it will. I know we have a lot of projects, still little projects that are going on there, so I think, when will that be announced?
So we have a window and we have what we're shooting for, but I think the way that everything's going, I know we had tentatively planned for a ribbon cutting on Friday. That is not going to happen. That was just a ceremonial piece. We've been shooting for getting this open very, very soon, but I'm fearful to say a date or a time because I don't want to disappoint people by having them lined up. I will tell you that once we have all our approvals in place and we're legal to go, we'll go and put something on Facebook and get the word out. And it may be as short as 24-hour notice that it's like, hey, we're going to be opening up, on this date at noon. But I hesitate still in the safety.
For yourself, we are this close. We are just beyond thrilled to announce that. We're as much in anticipation as the public and you as well. We've been working on this for how many years? 4 years now. And so we need to put our best face forward. We are not ready for company. Again, I think I've had this conversation with somebody today. We have one opportunity to make that first impression. And we want our community and our stakeholders and everyone who's coming to visit see that wow factor. It's just truly a transformation that has happened. It's been a barn raising of a project. And we want everyone to feel proud that this is in their town. And so we just need that a little bit of space to get there. And like Paul said, that as soon as we get that all the boxes checked, we will put out an announcement all over every media channel and get that open. It'll be a soft opening, and then we'll do a standalone grand opening once we've kind of worked through some of these kinks that we've kind of just touched upon, and we'll have a big splash event. And we've already got the invite prepared, and we actually ordered 7 more inflatable swans. That's kind of our theme. It's been our good luck charm. And so we're ready for the party. And we actually had an offer today for someone to host the event, and so we'll have food and drink for the public, cool swag, music, so we're ready. Yeah, we're ready to do it.
I guess the word is, it's very, very, very,
Very,
very,
And we are, I will tell you, there's been a lot of things going on, but in the past month, 45 days, we've been shooting for a point. We're still shooting that. That hasn't slipped, but I just don't want everybody is doing everything they can, from city staff to city vendors, local vendors, structural, and again, our friends with the health department and Department of Water Quality and our partners, the subcontractors who, they're the ones that set the bulkhead today. And I was asking everybody, like, where's the bulkhead? Where's the bulkhead? So I'm running out there and I'm like, well, there it is, right in front of me. And so I'm sending pictures of everything. Once they pull over. And so we got that, we got crane there, we got that set, we got the water is just all these little details gotta have it fully completed before those health department allow you to come in. Signs are on already.
It was so exciting to see Bulkhead come through, and if you look at Facebook, people will post pictures all over, what is rolling through town? Because you're used to seeing like my neighborhood, but people are like, what is this? So it's Bulkhead, so we called it Bulkhead 2023 Road Tour. So it happened today, it's installed, please stop by and see it, it's really cool.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, so, you know, there's always things that you're not sure about, kind of all between the cracks. And we have the parking lot, we have the park, we have the pool, but it's those transitional spaces. How do you get from the park to the pool? How do you get from the park to the pool to the parking lot? And kudos to John's and his crew that have been out there doing special things, getting people help them, doing concrete work, doing the railings. They're out there welding and bending and getting those mounted. And they're taking care of so that the transition between the parking lot, the park and the pool are all working very well, and it's seamless and it all fits together. And so that was something that, you know, we were focused on the pool and the fence in, and John is focused on from the fence out to make sure it fits into the site.
So if you tell me that and tell nobody, that won't work.
You will be the first to know before it becomes Facebook official.
That's good.
All right.
Good deal. Yeah, that's close. I didn't even see the gap between her fingers.
No, thank you to the staff, we appreciate everything, to you and to Walter.
Exactly.
I know you guys are under a lot of pressure and really trying to make things happen, we appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to motion to waive the prior discussion rule and approve resolution number 1876, waiving the daily user pass fees effective May 26, 2023, and reinstating the fees May 1st, 2024.
Second. Motion is second for approval of resolution 1876. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Any abstaining? Item G, fiscal year 2023-2024 budget update presentation to review additional budget inclusion.
Okay, so we're going back to the front of this presentation. So this is, at fiscal year 2023-24, review of key issues. We do have a budget calendar going forward here, so we've, tonight we'll actually do the second review of our SAP, employee benefit contribution. We need those approved, which they have been tonight, so that, we can build our staffing models and our department costs, operational costs. Open enrollment coming up May 25th. June 13th, possibly revenue projections of the CIP, not sure, if that would be a good timing. We may have, some light coverage on that. That's tentative, and Mr. Mayor, I know that you have your annual family trip, I think that would be, and you will not be here, and while the vice mayor is like, yeah, bring it down, but but I think that it's good to have the whole house here, or at least as close as we can get. We will have on June 21st, and we could go to the 20th, and we could go to the 22nd. June 21st is a Wednesday, and when we get the scheduling meeting, we'll have this conversation. But we'll have a daytime budget review work session, and that's where we get the bulk of the information. And actually, both Tina and Pat Walker will be up here to present. Again, Pat Walker has been with us since 2016. She was our budget, our finance department, municipal finance guru around the state, and she keeps trying to retire, but we simply won't let her. So she's been helping with that, along with Dennis and George, and especially Tina to get this put together. We'll have that roll out. Legally, June 27th, tentative budget adoption. That is key because that is we have to vote, the council must approve a maximum total budget amount. We'll have the Department of Revenue numbers and the split up on that. we can make changes within the budget, we can't increase the budget after the 27th. And so that is that key meeting. Now, we'll still get some feedback and have some other things we can do. We have to publish it for 2 weeks. And the way our publishing is that we put things in the paper that run Wednesday to Wednesday. And so it has to be a 3-week gap between the adoption of tentative and the publishing of the tentative budget. So then the final adoption, the public hearing final adoption will be on July 19th. And then we'll have the adopt property tax levy. Again, just so everybody knows, we have made a commitment to a flat levy that we will not ask for more money than we had asked last year, although we may receive additional funds from additional growth. But the amount of money that each person will pay will stay the same. And again, appraisals go up, our rate goes down, the appraisals go down, our rate comes up. The levy is the combination of the appraisal times the rate, and that we will maintain flat. And so that's a quick overview. Tina, if you're listening in and there's comments or anything you want to jump in on?
I'm just looking at that final budget adoption date of July 19th. Is that your normal council meeting? I thought I got that on the 25th.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't seem like it's, did I transpose, that was me typing in the numbers. So,
Wrong page.
which is,
I don't think that's enough time between your June 27th tentative. I think you might have picked up, I think that's the second publication date or something, but it's not, I have the 25th on mine.
okay, so I'm 1 week ahead, so yeah,
I think so.
that was my inability to type numbers. So just so we know, we will have it, so the third week in June. I'm sorry, July. Does that make sense? Okay, my apologies. This is my handiwork here. And trying to advance it.
And the 815 is correct for the property tax levy.
Oh, did you go? Okay, go on. Okay. Okay. Okay, so key budget topics, make sure I'm in the right spot. Yes, okay. So these are, annually we have these discussions. This is mainly in your, council, portion of the budget. So this is our budget meeting with you, and these are some of the inclusions. We traditionally put 73,000 in the Copper Mountain Transit deal, but they have just passed and created the Hill County Intergovernmental Public Transportation Authority. It still has a transition period. I don't think it'll be ready even within a year from now. And so I'm anticipating that we'll continue with our $73,000 payments if council wants to include that in their budget. And traditionally we pay that in segments, and it's contingent upon the county making the payment to. And so unless I hear otherwise, we'll build that into the budget that we bring forward. National Cities participation, we're about 35,000. We'll repeat what we did last time. That includes the actual joining of the National League of Cities. We had a very successful trip. I think we were at 3.5 to 4 million in federal funds that have been authorized and given. We have another 5 to 8 million that are proposed in the budget and may make it across the finish line. And so, for no matter what you say about what's going on in Washington DC, they want to invest in local communities, they want to invest in these projects, and we're fine to seek out our representatives, and if we can bring that tax dollar money home to us, this money is not their money, it's our money that we're getting back to the city of Globe to invest in. And these are projects we never do on our own by ourselves. We just don't have that lump sum And so the other, and that's why we got Nexus to hold lobbying contract. It had been 54, and we're going up to 60. Just to, if you look at it over 3 years, we did 54. It's about a 3% increase in the cost. It's very reasonable, and considering the volume work they're doing for us now. We've experienced that and how well they do. We're lucky to have such an in-tune and responsive team of federal lobbyists. The Boys and Girls Club, our understanding, and I wish Representative Cook was here, I was not able to dig through the budget and find out that he had mentioned that there was additional funding for the Boys and Girls Club through the state, almost 250,000. And so I think that's, compared to, we normally would get by 13 or 15,000. 13,000, I think we can sit on the sidelines this year. And they can do a lot with that money, and that's exciting. We traditionally have done a nonprofit grant fund of 15,000, although we have not. Because of the COVID and the workload and like that, that had not been distributed through a process, but we do have a process, and I think it's a good time to bring that back. There are a lot of other people trying to do things, and so that 15,000 for competitive grant for qualifying nonprofit, and just for a small reminder, we put an ask out, and people come up with ideas as how they can. And then one, and have a rubric, and we pass that out, and distribute that. And that would be general fund money.
What was the max, was it like $1,000 max, or I don't remember?
I don't know that we had a match.
No, max, like max award, I thought it was like 1,000.
Oh, we're kind of flexible on, it depends on, if we got so, as I recall, we got like 5 really good projects, and out of 20,000, we would do partials. But sometimes we have like one really important project that seemed like, everything else kind of pales, and then we'll do 1 or 2 that way. It's kind of whatever makes most sense. We try not to be too bureaucratic, so we don't lock ourselves into too many guidelines, other than it needs to benefit the region. And it needs to be a nonprofit, and they're reporting requirements. So we have that. The Head Start building, we have a lead on a provider that has a model of doing 0 to 5 early childhood. Most don't touch anything under 2 years old. I think it'd be a great benefit to support working people and moms and families in Globe. So we're going to put that out. It's really not a budget cost, but I think it's because what we will do is take that building and put a group of stipulations, a model of what type of services we want to see. And then if you come up with a plan that the city approves, we will lease the building for $1 a year, but also the maintenance on the building is up to the provider. So we don't charge them anything that they do need to upkeep the property, and assume we can get somebody in that property. But unless council, and we've had this conversation at a couple levels, wants to see something other than early childhood 0 to 5, I think that is it's a tiny little building with little people are at home. So
I also serve on First Things First for the Gila Regional, and we keep track of how many early childhood development centers we have, and we've lost here, and we're desperate to get them. We put grants out to try to encourage them to bring those services, and it's just really hard to do. And so, if we could do that, that would be fantastic.
Well, we're gonna move fast. We know some one organization is interested, but there may be others out there too. And so it's a competitive response. It's an RFP process, and we'll have a rubric, and whoever best suits the need and is most capable of providing the services will moving that to council and making that a word. And
And I think Linda's already gotten in contact with Carolyn Morrow. Yeah.
okay,
We're just-
we probably don't like the nickname.
Well, first things first, that
Oh,
way
okay.
goes.
Oh, okay.
We've actually been working with.
You come up. You got it. No one can hear you at home.
Yeah, the first thing first side isn't secret.
So we've actually been working with Carolyn Harlow, the executive director for our local First Things First office. And she has given us a plethora of information and resources. We're using RFPs that are currently being put out by the state and First Things First. And so we're developing the program requirements so that we can be competitive for these federal and state funds and meet the requirements for First Things First programming as well.
Thank you.
So, unless I hear otherwise, we'll move forward with that. First Friday event programming, we're gonna actually transition here in a second to have standalone presentation on First Friday, because I think it's important to give some more detail on that. And then Citizens Academy, it doesn't, it's not a heavy burden on the budget, but I think it's been a council priority and really important. So we're gonna put, I think, $500 for the two for paying for some of the food and some of the stuff that Shelley needs to put together. It's been, I think, the more success than I even thought it would. It really has worked out good. We got a lot of, met a lot of nice, good people, and we've been involved. So Mr. Mayor, members of council, Linda, do you wanna, are we gonna do the First Friday? So Danny, we're switching it up here. We're gonna swap out the First Friday, and then we'll come back to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like EKG.
A little PTSD there.
Hi, Mayor and Council, thank you for having us up here. So first we'll just go through the overview. I have this.
Yes. Which is this?
So I just wanted to go through what the money is being spent on. So we have advertising, entertainment, health and safety, and then community activities, like the climbing wall, ice skating, etc. This past year, we did spend $63,000 as of April on those topics that I just went over. This is a little breakdown of where that went. So $15,000 to marketing, $40,000 to entertainment, $6,000 to public health and safety, and then decor and other would be the $216,000. The biggest portion easily is entertainment. That's more than half of our costs. As you can see, we are currently spending about $7,000 on live bands. The DJs is about $5,000. And then key activities, that's the climbing wall, ice skating rink, the big draw for First Friday. Those take up the biggest portion at $27,000. This is a timeline, so you can see the growth of visitors per week in the historic downtown district since October of 2020 through April 24th of this year. So you can actually see the increase there.
So, Mr. Mayor, members of council, to Melissa, explain what this data represents.
So this is
Very high tech.
This is the number of cell phones that are in pockets that are in our downtown district. We have a geofence set up to track how many cell phones come into the area. And each spike that you see there, the really big ones, I'm so happy to show that they actually correspond to a First Friday event.
These are pulled from our placer data, and then we can zoom in a little bit on it. This one might be a little easier to see. This is the last 6 months. So each green spike there is a First Friday compared to the other Fridays within the 6-month period.
Listen to the question.
Yeah.
When you talk about tracking cell phones, you can tell the number that are downtown. Can you also track if they're local visitors or are they local people?
I didn't pull that report, but I can see where they're coming from and where they go after. So it's not their address, but their area. It's kind of creepy sometimes, but we do get into they don't have any personal data. There's no addresses. It's just they go home. That's all we are allowed to see. So
We actually, Melissa pointed out that they actually go to eat after First Friday. And so they're hitting Fast Food Road up on the east side. And so this is just great information to share with our local restaurants that if they stay open just a little bit longer, a little bit, that they would get a little more traffic, or actually a lot more traffic before they actually do go home.
Can we also track any of the motel activity? Is there an increase in that too, or does that program do that?
I can look for a report on our hotel activity, so the number of people staying open. I wanted to point out, because earlier you said it was probably the biggest First Friday we had. If you look at the last 2 green spikes on there, April and May, we almost reached 9,000 visitors into our downtown district. So that's huge. That's a really big jump, especially if you look back at 2020.
And that's just a cell phone.
That's just one cell phone. Yep.
So a cell phone could have 4 kids.
Yeah.
So that 9,000 more than likely is 12.
Yeah.
What do the orange bars represent?
Those are the other Fridays within the 6-month period. I just wanted to highlight which ones were First Friday. And then we handed out an even more zoomed in graph. So that was actually the last month. And it looks a little bit closer at April and May. So you see, this is not my slideshow, but the top 2 spikes are April and May First Fridays.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, it does show that, Fridays are big in downtown Globe and First Fridays are even bigger. And so compare that to some of the, the off weeks, we suffer through Monday and Tuesday when some of the restaurants are closed. So.
We did notice though that there was a huge uptick in traffic, and it was the first week of school. Remember we noticed that, and so that's consistent. So again, this is really useful data that we can show our downtown business owners that these are the times that we're seeing the most traffic throughout the year. You want to be open maybe just these Mondays and Tuesdays.
And then,
So is this like a software package that we purchased, or is it something that we just?
This is the data package that we purchased through this CIP last year.
Because I remember you were saying that you could actually, if you targeted marketed to the college students, and then from Tucson, and then they clicked an interest, you could actually see if they actually showed up.
Those are similar. It's not through Placer. That would actually be through the marketing campaign that we run. So that's a little more complicated. But very similar.
They're very similar to
Yeah.
software, okay.
So this software actually helps us to identify retail prospects as well. And we are actually utilizing it right now for a client who is looking to do a new build here. It's a corporate client. And so we're looking at pedestrian traffic, vehicular traffic, and comparing that to ADOT numbers. And surprisingly, it's the Placer AI, the data it's real time. We can track it down to, if we want to see how many cars go past, 200 North Broad at between noon and 1 o'clock every day for a month, we can do that. And it's really impressive, and it's really been helping to drive some decisions, especially regarding this plan.
Mr. Mayor?
Freddie, go ahead.
So this data, obviously, I think the goal is to share that with our business partners our downtown business. And I know that we have some bed tax groups here to see, maybe do you see something, maybe it's a topic of discussion for later or now, but I think this is a great opportunity to get that information out to all of our businesses so that they know that they can rely on some real-time data to help them, with their sales and their revenues.
Yeah, definitely. I switched back because I wanted to show you in December. You can actually see the Christmas parade spike on there as well. So it is very, very beneficial for all of us.
Well, that graph right there is very telling. You go back to October of 2005 and it's a steady climb.
Oh, it's October 2020.
That was our first.
So 05. So, even to say the least, that is a very telling sign. That graph is a continual rise. So.
It's some chilly winter days too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, just a personal story on the Christmas light parade. We set up an auxiliary stage at the north end of town for review of floats. I was setting up a PA system, a couple came up to me. They were from Peoria, Arizona. They had just eaten Mexican food at La Casita. And they were asking for directions to get to the Pasco stairs. And I said, are you staying for the parade? Oh yeah, that's our main entertainment. But we wanted the food, we wanted to see Pasco stairs, and we wanted to see the Christmas light parade. And then I asked them, where are you from? And they said, Peoria, Arizona. I was just elated, glad to point out the direction of it. That's really, so it's not just for Fridays, it's a weekend thing to travel up here. And we're in it, we're going around in the park. It's just fascinating that they're coming. It's just fun. Thank you. That's so many questions.
Yeah, that was it for me.
Good stuff.
So, and then, Dan, you can throw the original slide back up. Okay, so, yeah, starting with the first Friday budget. This clarifies a little bit more on the budget, a little bit more fine tuning. And it shows an estimate, estimated for the future. I will tell you the key activities, the third line down, we're at 27. We're likely, we want to go up, project about 44,000, just because those one time, was it the ice skating rink, the bungee jumping, the wall climb, these are, we're trying to have like one big one small and have a killer, a really good event. And so we only had 4 in this budget cycle. We're gonna do 6, and so the biggest increase is just adding in about 2 events for the 7,300, 7,500 on average. For those 6 first Fridays, and then a much smaller amount for the alternative, the off big event first Fridays. And that's where you see this budget grow. We're also looking at some of the costs going up. I think we factored in about 6% growth on these costs, just because, things are changing and everything like that. So the grand total, that we're gonna bring forward in the budget, under the economic development for first Fridays at $82,062.55. So it includes contract labor. Linda has a group that she hires for the restrooms, the event marketing, about 16,000 there, and then the bands, DJs, and others. The soft costs down below, on those Fridays, ED staff, you got 4 people pulling from 7 to 10 at night, but their salary, so there's no cost. But public works staff, there's, John has a group too. It takes public works people to close the streets down and be there to keep the street closed, keep track of stuff going on and pull up after they're done. So we got an extra 6 hours over their normal days, and so you get about $3,617 projected. Now, this is a discussion about future in the budget, with how we want to do this. This is actually, when I think about it, these are regular time hours, so it would be a little bit more. I just realized I didn't tag any overtime, so we're probably, at about almost 5,000 a year, and with PD with overtime, probably about 9,000 a year. But to date, we are just taking that out of our own pocket. We're not billing that to economic development. I mean, we could bill it to economic development, it would just be, the departments like it because they try really hard to manage their overtime. And so if you have a standalone event, it's cleaner to book that overtime to the other departments to show that they're not being non-thrifty with their budget. So we will bring forward a budget that bakes these additional staff hours between departments into that. And so that raises those costs. But these, I can say, if not for Friday, we would not have these additional costs. So that's the budget on that. And so that kind of gives you a handle as to what the expenses are. You see the benefit, you see the advantages, you see the increased traffic, that it's going to increase TPT and everything like that. But you need to know, what our general fund is going towards. So any questions about this budget?
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor. Linda, your staff is a well-oiled machine working with the other departments. They deploy, they set up, and I try to listen for anyone who wants to complain about the entire event. And every time I've gone, I haven't heard one complaint about anything. It's a carnival atmosphere, and everyone is at home enjoying themselves. And it's only one detractor, I guess, that I can tell you this one thing. We had too many venues. They had to walk all over the place. And I didn't want to do that. It was really nice to go to another block and there's something else going on all evening. It was very enjoyable.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, Linda, I think many times the vendors run out of food. Their street product, whatever that's called.
Yes, our food vendors consistently sell out. We now have a waiting list for our artists and crafters. And so that's why we've grown towards North Broad, and we want to continue growing. And so that would, it's happening organically and incrementally, and I want to give all the credit for this momentum to Melissa. She has just really taken this on and just made it what it is, and she does it with such kindness and ease and a smile on her face. So
She's really good at closing marketing too.
yes. So she has been just the key to all of this. So I want everyone to know that.
So
The other comment just is it'd be neat to, or I don't know if it's even possible, see what the increase in the TBT and the taxes that are generated on First Friday. We see the 82,000, but what's coming back, indirectly in the fact with the amount of people buying food and motels.
And I actually had sent an email, so as everyone knows, we have an auditor that does partial, special case scenarios with us, Al Holler and Associates, and I asked if there's a way he could take some of that out, and I did not hear back from him yet, but I did send an email to him. But then another way we can validate it. But I will tell you, the food trucks are they're small entrepreneur businesses that are making, feeding their families with what they do. And then the vendors, who set up tables, they have their businesses that they're trying to get off the ground and see if they take off.
And we're actually working with 4 of our food truck vendors that are wanting to become brick and mortar. So this is
Yeah.
So this is informational, unless I hear otherwise, we're gonna build this into the economic development services budget when we bring this budget forward. Okay, so we have one more topic, and that's the test training.
So is the plan to include the soft costs into the budget?
Yes, the soft costs will be, I'll talk to Tina about how to put one of those in, but I wanted the department directors that are impacted by that to be able to show, this is what I manage for overtime because of a broken pipeline, or somebody calls it sick, or we have an incident, where we need to keep first shift over in PD, and then have these costs so they can see what's pulling out, and we can track them individually and see, how much of the overtime is for the department and how much is to support another department.
I think that's a great idea, especially with our, public works and PD, because, they have to budget, their forces, but if we're showing that, this amount of cost is directly related to, this city function, then I'm not speaking for the department heads, but I gotta believe that they're encouraged by that, because it really does make it simpler.
No, we bring forward ideas, council wants to know if they're responsible and they're working, and so you gotta build it on the top, so the benefit, this is the cost of what we're doing, this is the benefit, and are they balancing out? And you can't go without looking at the overtime from other departments. And as fire here, I know you guys do stuff too, I didn't, but I was sorry. Okay. So I know that
Fire sets up our lights.
okay.
And then in the last two First Fridays, we get Chief Robinson riding the shuttle, the old fire truck, which has been a huge rise.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Luckily, the fire chief is salary also. And he looks pretty good driving those kids around. So Linda, let's say thank you. And so we want to go forward to the last conversation, the bed path conversation. Just as some background information. You started at the bottom, 15, 16, and 16, 17, when I got here, my first budget, we would do, I believe, 100,000 flat, and then split that between the bed tax boost. After that, we pretty much went to a policy that we were asked to with the bed tax. Whatever we collected with our 3%, we would divide amongst the 5 bed tax organizations with a split, which is the 2 to 20, 2 to 22, then I think 1 to 15, 22 and a half. I can't remember the numbers right off the top of my head. So 17, 18, we because we were sharing all of it, we brought that up about 58% jump. 18, 19, just a slight increase. 19, 20, and we went up. Actually, we dropped down by 8%. 2021, we're up to 40% from the year last year with the 200,000 mark. 21, 22, also up to 230, and this year we will be distributing 255,769, and we'll wrap it up in this tonight. So we've gone from 100,000 more than double that in what we're doing, in what we're collecting through the benefits. And that's the number of factors, activity and costs and everything like that. But so this is our proposed split for this year. What is unique about this one is not only are we balancing out the 5 entities, but we are requesting to add the City of Globe First Friday as a bed tax recipient. And so instead of the 20, we would be doing 16.7%. And now it does take care of the problem. I think there's always a fairness issue with the Gila County Historical Society. You can see the whole split on the right. And actually, the Historical Society, even with the addition of the First Friday, will get more than they next year than they have this year. Just a caveat, this is based on if we were splitting the 255 this year. I have not seen the projections, and so this is for consumption about how we do the split in comparison, apples to apples. The projected number for that tax may be higher, may be lower, but this is the best way to look at how it impacts the organizations. And so you can see Low Miami Regional Chamber of Commerce, they were getting the 22%, and so they would go down 14,000 over the year. The EDC would also go down. They were a high percentage getter. Historic Society would go up by $4,000. Cooper Valley Center for the Arts, they would go down from, if they get the amounts the same, from 51 to 42. Little Downtown Association, same number, 51 to 42. But then we would have that 42,000 to subsidize what we do as bringing heads to the beds and supporting tourism. All this money must go towards that tourism type activity and building our businesses, bringing people. And I think all 5 organizations do a great job of doing that. All 6 organizations, if you include City of Global First Friday. A couple of the other changes, instead of doing 4 calls for money, we would do a half and half. So the first split and second split. So instead of first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, we'll do the first half of the year and the second half of the year. One of the problems that we had, this is an accounting problem and an audit problem. The way we were doing it is we were doing first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is based on what we collected directly, but it took us 30 to 45 days before we knew how much. And so it wasn't even eligible to be distributed until the next budget cycle. Tina and Pat Walker and our auditors have both asked us if we can do the budgeting and the awards before June 30th of that year, and it just cleans up the budget cycle. So what we would do, first distribution of money would be based on real numbers, and the second would be based on the average from the prior January to December. And so that will kind of even that out. And then we would, funds must be requested before June 30th, so we get them distributed before June 30th. And we require one president, well, it's council's preference, presentation request required to receive the funds. That would be a 2 updates. We had added that, or we had seen presentations from the majority of our bed tax organizations have come to council. Later in the agenda tonight, we're giving away the third, we're distributing the third quarter and the fourth quarter, just so we don't hit that audit dilemma where we're distributing the next year. We want to get this handled with the June, and that's why we projected the fourth quarter and distributing that in together with the third quarter. So we would, so this is how we kind of resolve those problems. And so Mr. Mayor, members of council, I don't know if you have any questions or discussion on this proposal. We had talked a little about this in quality of life. I don't know who's in there. Yeah. Okay.
I have a feeling I'm usually there, but I'm medically excused.
So,
Mr. Stapleton, the only one here?
Mayor, and myself is, and Jesse.
So I'm not quite clear on the history. I know that when we instituted it, it was to help these organizations bring people here, and they were the ones that contributed to most of the activities and special events that they were doing. Now, by adding the First Friday, is there something that has to change in something that was passed before? Or?
We did research on this and we always talk about this. While there is the history of when this was adopted, while it was the bed tax organizations were looking for consistency in funding, which they have achieved, and not have a rise and fall on the whatever's going on in the budget. And so the proposal was to go out and have a guaranteed revenue source, and that was the additional bed tax of 3% on hotels. And then the ask was to dedicate that, the council to dedicate that to those 5 groups, and the split that they did. That's a very quick history, there's a lot more. But this was, while the bed tax did a lot, did groups to convince hotels that, you know, this is a good thing and it will help you get more business out of it, even though they were gonna have to collect and pass along this extra 3% at the time. It wasn't coming out of the hotel's pocket, but they had to charge a customer 3% additional. But the tax was put in place by a resolution of the city council, and every year, city council has, as far as discretion, has to designate these in the budget. It did not go to the people. The only limitation on money is state statute for bed tax requirement that you go towards investing in encouraging or stimulating travel and people staying here. So it wouldn't go against anything that's been set in stone. It does go different than the tradition, but the tradition had been, when I got here, that the city vote was on the sidelines. We did water lines, we did police and fire, but we were not, we looked towards our bed tax group to do all of the economic development and the chamber and the great things that they do, the parades and the movies and the arts. And that definitely qualifies as bed tax, qualifying, tourism drivers. But now, we are participating in this also. We are putting work in, I believe, at an equal benefit, the equal benefit to match those other bed tax groups with the expansion of the money and the availability. I think there's room for us to become a bed tax member and without a tremendous hit going on the other 5 main bed tax organizations. And it does do, the council's goal has been to equalize the distribution between the 5.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
can you bring up that previous slide on revenue, please, Paul? We've seen in the last 3 years, growth in the change in growth is 40%, 11%, 11% in the annual total revenue that we receive. So I see the line, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So as we go into this new fiscal year, that kind of skews that projection in 2021, but an expected projection would be at least an 11% projection increase in revenue.
I would say, with Tina especially looking over my shoulder, she had thrown out a number about between 230 and 250. I'm gonna, and I don't know that it will go down or not. And so let's assume between 230 and 250.
Okay. What I'm trying to do is parody a little bit there. We have two, go to the current slide, the next slide.
Okay.
So now we're going into projection, and this is basically 22-23. The point I'm trying to get to is there will be some loss of revenue to our baseline organizations, CVCA and the Globe Downtown Association, if this projection remains the same. So I guess what I'm trying to get to is recoup some of that money with an increase in revenue in the new fiscal year. So some of that increase in money, overall revenue, we'll see a recoupment and distribution to those organizations. In other words, they're taking the hit this year, this coming year, but with the expected projection of revenue, it'll probably come up close to what they are experiencing right now. That's what I'm trying to get to. The hit is there, the cut is there, because we can add City of Gulf First Friday, but as we always do, we're hopeful for the future with increasing the revenue. And notwithstanding the state legislature, Mr. Mayor, that bugaboo is there. A year in advance, we make these plans, and who knows what they'll do next year. Politely referencing that, and we'll say another word. What are we talking about, the state legislature? But what I'm trying to say in this instance is, the revenue will continue to rise roughly in an 11 to 20% rise, whatever that may come out to be. That's helpful to know for our ABCs, so that, yes, they're taking a cut, yes, they're taking a hit, but we're depending on an increase of overall revenue in the bed tax, because we've had success across the board from all of our ABCs in our economic development department. And that sounds like a spin, but it's true in terms of a growing economy in this region and outside influence, our tourist dollar is we are attracting them. So I'm optimistic about that. I think in all of these, we will see an increase, the reality part of the revenue of the taxes. I feel good about this, knowing that we haven't had a downturn in revenue in the last 3 cycles. And that means we'll probably, I'm looking for parity, I said, we'll probably get what we're going to get. And it covers this bed tax revenue.
And, go ahead, Mayor, you mean that?
I think I'm done. I was just trying to massage it in my brain. The thing is, we haven't had a downturn in revenue, in tourist revenue. It's been on the up and up. Now you do take a hard look at the state budget, and you look at their revenue at the highest level, it has never gone down. We've always been able to have quite an increase. And that increase goes into their emergency fund, the rainy day fund. They haven't had it ever in 10 years that I can think of. So we're in the same kind of positive. It continues to go up. We're doing everything to increase the revenue by approaching, through economic development, our tourism. So revenue in the bed tax arena will continue to go up, is what I'm projecting. I don't see anything there that says, no, we're having a crisis or a crisis. It continues to grow.
Well, and there are a couple factors, but Mr. Mayor, Members of Council, Tina, did you want to chime in?
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna add that for something like this, if we want to budget 300,000 for next year, as a very optimistic growth, it's probably not what would be realized, but that meant 300,000 in matching expenditures, then it's like a grant. If the money comes in, they have the opportunity to get 50,000 per agency. If it doesn't come in, you're still gonna give out just 16.7%, but there's no harm in optimizing the revenue, and then, because you're only gonna base what you give out based on what actually comes in.
Right.
So if you wanna be a little more proactive and say, should there be a windfall, should we see a 15%, that 20% growth in this line item, it would give you a little more opportunity to actually cut those checks as well.
I got a question. So, I mean, just on the surface, you would assume that there are more butts in beds. But it could also be that the rates are going up.
Well, and so, Mr. Mayor, Members of Council, just why are the rates going up? Because there is a competition, it's supply and demand, and so the rooms are worth more value. Why are they worth more value? Because we are doing such a better job. Because people are learning, you can't just show up and load without having a reservation, so they're doing that. And so even though the number is going up because the cost of rooms is going up, they're being driven up by the efforts of all 5 of the bed tax organizations and our First Friday. And so we continue to do our part along the bed tax to get people to want to come here. And then we get the tipping point and we get the other hotel chains see that we're at, 90% occupancy, 70% of the time, well, it's time to start building. And then we may drive all of this, may drive to get some additional hotels. We also have to protect the hotels we have, because there's issues with housing and things like that, because if we decline in a number of rooms we have, and in 2 occasions already, it's not good for everybody. We want more people to stay here, we want the total number of people to stay here. We hope that if we can build more beds, have more people not paying as much, but still, these are the problems of being successful.
I guess one of the concerns I have is you look at that, I guess it's not a good way, well, you hate to look at it that way, but you look at some of these organizations and you look at which are the ones that are putting multiple events out there for a community that are bringing more people. When you talk about Beds in the Head, you talk about some that hardly bring any, hardly doing any events. So how do you judge which one gets more money? Because there are some organizations in this group that do, like the Downtown Association, that does a lot of events. And how do you compare it to other organizations on this list?
Yeah. Well, and that is the difficulty. Historical Society has this wonderful building that we go in and a great website. The Art Center is people, you can always tell someone you do Globe because they're looking up. And then they're looking up the stairs at the Art Center, they're looking at the architecture, and they're taking pictures of the train. And so I think I think that each in their way, they bring something, and it's hard to put a direct measurement on it, but I think that it's a well-balanced orchestra, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and now with our First Friday on top of that, I think we have a diversified group of activities that is the best thing to do. You don't put all your eggs in one basket, and so the diversified tourist options is a smart move. And that's what we would be doing, is diversified. And I, like I say, we hope that in the future it all goes up and these will climb back up. But I think this is a good time to make that adjustment. Just as we've seen, we've proven the benefit of the First Friday. It was kind of an experiment. Linda was very enthusiastic. I'm like, I saw their vision and we went forward, and it turns out to be, I hate to say it, but when we have parking problems, I just smile. I'm so happy, and then.
No, I agree that the city has never been a part of that group. We've never done that. We've never been part of trying to bring more activity to the downtown and more Beds in the Head. We've always taken the back seat. We always have. And we've let every other organization control our destiny. And we decided as a council, we want to change that. We want to make sure that we control our own destiny, that we do the extra to bring activity, to bring development, to bring all that we're seeing now.
Well, and Mr. Mayor, members of council, is under the leadership of Mr. Mayor, you and the past 3 councils that have bought into this idea that we're not just bystanders and umpires, but we're cheerleaders and participants and bringing in partners with our historic partners.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I need to mention the success of the iHeart Globe Committee, which, I've said this before, I wasn't a big supporter. I could see their vision. And it's 3 years later that we have people coming in just to look at the murals in the artwork and the Pascal Sanders and all the stairs murals. So everything that they're doing is an enhancement. So it's coming along nicely, I guess, But there's a place and something here for everyone. Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, you have another question?
Actually, I just want to make a comment, looking at this and being on the council for years as I have been, and just aware of, how the mid-tax sharing was, and I know there was a time when, there was a cap, And that created, firestorm, right? I mean, I think that's where you see that hurricane.
Yeah, that was.
Regardless of what it was at. I believe, I was either in chambers or I was on council, so it's so long that, where I saw that cap be lifted. And as I was learning about the bed tax groups and the organizations and what the goal was, you know, we had, Steve, oh gosh, Stratton come in and give us a presentation on
you're right.
what he remembered, on how this became, a process. I never understood why certain groups got 22%, others got 16%, things like that. I think, and Mayor mentioned earlier, it's hard to determine who's doing what and, you know, and how you're gonna put a label on that. And I don't think that's the right thing to do. You know, when you start splitting hairs, it really doesn't promote partnership, you know, in the overall goal of what this bed tax was meant to be. You know, bringing in those tax dollars and sharing those tax dollars to these organizations. So I agree with the even split, because I just don't believe, I don't see the fairness in how one group gets less than the other by percentage. And I don't agree that, you know, we should be here with a, you know, scorekeeping to see who's doing what and what's their value. I just don't feel like that's the way to properly distribute these funds. I also agree that we made a commitment to control our destiny as a city. We made a commitment to create a department, an economic development department. Because we saw that, and we learned from other cities, that truly is a genuine revenue source in a municipality, is bringing in the tourism. And then, you know, we're getting that with First Friday. We're getting that, and we saw the graph with other Fridays. We're getting that volume of people coming in, which is something that we always had a vision of, but we're living it now. It's no longer a vision, it's a reality. And I agree that if we continue this path, that all the organizations, including the city, can benefit from that revenue source. It's not, you know, we should look at this as a make or break for an organization. But I think it is a supplement, and it always has been a supplement to the organizations and helping them create those tourism opportunities. So I'm hopeful that these revenues will continue to grow so that everybody prospers equally and we're not splitting hairs. I know it's not an easy thing, and we're not here to only consider it an easy task, but we have difficult things that we have to consider also. I just feel like this is the fairest way to treat all the organizations, including the city, because we are investing in bringing tourism. And that's a fact. That's not a foregone, you know, it's just not an idea, it's a fact. So I know this is a difficult decision. I don't know where we're gonna go with this. I'd like to hear what committee members have to say if they haven't already. But that's just me on the sideline here listening to this presentation. I shouldn't say sideline, I'm right in the middle of it. So, thank you.
So,
And again, this is just a suggestion, I think we discussed also about dialogue with our debt tax organizations, as we move forward with this. I think they need to be involved in these discussions. It is, you know, like I said, I think, I do believe that the city of Globe should be part of the equation also. If we're out there, we see the amount of money that we're spending. And it's not just residents from the city that are benefits, the whole community is benefiting. So it is a large amount and people are enjoying it. And so this is a good discussion to have.
So I think that's exactly where I'm thinking is, I never really thought about the city being a participant in this. And I would not feel that comfortable with just saying, oh yeah, I want to go ahead and go this direction. I think we should engage the tax recipients in that, you know, let them know this is why. I don't think it's a hard sell to say that we are contributing to bringing people that benefits all the organizations. But I feel like for us just to make that decision to say, this is going to be good for you, I really feel better if we at least talk to them and let them know why we're thinking this, where that money's going, because I mean, we just had a presentation that basically shows that money's gonna be spent right away, just basically to get these people to come up. And I know that we all benefit from that. So I'm not opposed to this concept, and I think that with all our efforts, we'll see that total revenue on the bed tax go up. And again, I agree that we will all benefit. I just feel that we should do that dialogue, talk to them, each one of us that represent our groups, come to them and say, this is what we're thinking about doing.
and Mr. Mayor, members of council, this will not be finalized until we adopt the tentative, and even after that, we can, you know, there's leeway to shift this around. We can, if hearing what I'm hearing is that tentatively we will build the budget this way, but if council decides they want to readjust that, we can do that as we go through. But allow council, I know you expressed this before, we want to have a dialogue with the different entities and work with them and get a feel for that. It is something that's a change from what we've done in the past, and so I appreciate council's diligence to work through the proposal, and so we look forward to the final conclusion on this.
Just one last word, Mr. Mayor. I do believe our revenues are up, the trend is there, and therefore all the agencies will enjoy more revenue than what we're projecting. Based that on reality, you see a trend, and look at the economic reality that we're in, and it certainly is there. So I think at the end of the year, the bottom line is everyone benefits, and we're able to accommodate the needs of a First Fridays program, which has been very successful. But it's not the only success. It's the rest of our red tax constituents. So the revenue is there. Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, members of council, I think we've gotten covered many items, a lot of good feedback. We have marching orders as how to build the budget. Meanwhile, you can do your due diligence, and when we get further into this, we can revisit this. Okay. So that would, Mr. Mayor, members of council, there's no vote on this. This is just a presentation, and okay. So
we'll go to action items, and item 6A is presentation, discussion, modification, and possible adoption of the 2023 addendum to the City of Globe Council Strategic Action Plan. That's Linda.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, we had we had this up 2 weeks ago, but we did not take a final adoption vote because someone wasn't here, and I think and Mike wasn't here, but so we just So it's just a simple adoption. I think if you want a presentation, we can do that, or Mr. Mayor, if there's any changes that you wanted to add on to there. But if council would like to go through the presentation again, or if you just want to, any last thoughts or over the past 2 weeks?
Personally, we saw this
Right.
already, so I'm good.
So the only one that wasn't here was Larry.
Yeah, I mean, unless Mayor wants to go review anything,
Or
but I'm good with it because we saw it already.
Well, I mean, we can be your example.
Yeah, I'm good.
So really, it's a continuation of our current plan and really what council landed on. I met with each of you to gather input to drive this year's retreat. And every single council person and mayor said the same thing: continue the momentum. Let us finish what we've started and let's stay true to the course. So really, there's not any new huge additions. It's just, let's continue investing in our recreation, our water, wastewater infrastructure, tourism, of course. So developing our internal capacities, looking at cost recovery measures, and we'll be seeing that coming to council later on. So really, it's just a continuation of the past SAP.
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor. The one that's missing in the room tonight is Jerry Barnes, who did so much on this build out.
Yeah.
Everything that we are looking at, including negotiations with ADOT, and we're obviously benefiting from all of the work in setting up our new bridges, our extended realignment and repair on the approach. There's so much that he did to pull all this together in infrastructure. And I don't know what the future brings, but I really want to take a moment to acknowledge his work on all of this, because here we are, we're about to open the pool. We have sewer lines, we have water lines, everything to support that area in place now. And as soon as the bridge is done, that's the final piece. And he had so much to do with that. I really I hope he's listening tonight. He did so much on this infrastructure piece. It's really gratifying to know that he did so much. You should have seen him working on that punch list for the pool. He was brutal. I really respected that. But yeah, Jerry's fingerprints are all over this.
Well, Mr. Mayor, members of council, Councilman Gonzalez, that will. Oh, Jerry, but Luis is very stealth. So, and Mr. Mayor, members of council, Councilman Gonzalez, one last, when we did receive, we got a text from Representative Cook that we got the 3.5 million for the sidewalks and the bridge money. And that was something that Jerry worked with Councilman Pastor. They went down to the city of Maricopa for that conference. Jerry is, a lot of contact with Dave Cook and with CAG, get this. And so I sent him the good news. And he responded, great, said, where's my bonus check? So that was that, but he does know that his legacy lives on, and soon kids will be able to walk on a safe sidewalk to the pool when it opens.
Mayor, I would move to adopt the 2023 amendment to the City of Coolidge City Council Strategic Action.
Second.
We have motion second for approval of item 6A. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just one last thing, as soon as possible. We said this last year, that it be posted when it is finally approved by council, so that the general public can access it anytime. And if they want to know what we're up to, that they can go right to the Strategic Action Plan and read about what we're doing. And that we really stick to that plan we put our, like we did last year, we put our nose to the grindstone, and now we have a pool this close to being open. That's all we're doing, read up on what we said we're going to do, and what we're projecting we're going to do the next budget cycle. That's where it all is. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Call for the vote, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay, any abstaining? Motion passed. Item B, we have discussion and consideration to approve change order number 3 for CS-2023-001 with HT4 for Dickinson Waterline Project in the amount of $4,921.97 to be funded from account number 50-80-52200 Water Capital Outlay Construction. We have
Mayor, council members.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Lon Beckett. I'm the construction and utilities inspector. Presenting to you tonight a change order for Dickinson Waterline Project. Addition of 2 services for residents on that, in that area, and also a credit back to the city for unused copper line that was added into the plan, but in case the current lines were steel lines. And
So, Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is a change order. Even though it's a small amount, it goes above what was approved by council. And so Lon's here to answer any questions, and but it does need to come back. We've talked about this before, so it's on action, and we don't need to waive the rules. But it's just part of that process of these projects. And so, but on is open to any questions you have additionally on this one.
So you want us to make it tough on them, is that what you're saying?
You know, some people like to learn how to swim calmly. You know?
Just for clarity, so I'm looking at my agenda, and the background talks about going from a 1-inch to a 4-inch water line. I don't see anything about the pipe being returned back to the city. Is that, am I reading the wrong background?
that was the first change order. It was to change from 1-inch to a 4-inch to the available water for future residents.
Okay. So this is change order 2?
This is actually change order number 3. Change order 2 actually also added more features to accommodate that 4-inch line.
Yeah, that's under the background. The 1 to 4 is part of the background, just so I can show you the history of the change orders. The actual change order 3 is the one you should focus on in the staff report.
It's right below change order 2, right?
Yeah.
Well, it'll blend it in there.
The second paragraph.
Okay, my mistake, sorry about that. Thank you.
I'll be great. I move to approve change order number 3 for CS-2023-0015 with HT4 for the Dickinson Waterline Project in the amount of $4,921.97 to be funded from account number 50-80-52200 Water Capital Outlay Construction.
Second. Motion and second for approval of item 6B. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Any abstaining? Motion passed. Thank you, Lon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 6C, we have presentation update by the Downtown Association. Consideration to approve bed tax distribution request for the first quarter fiscal year 2023 in the amount of $14,970.28. Second quarter fiscal year 2023 in the amount of $11,447.56. Third quarter of fiscal year 2023 in the amount of $11,947.45. And the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2023 in the amount of $12,788.43, funded from account number 10-51-51915. We have Molly. How you doing?
Hi, with permission through you, Mayor, should be, if anybody needs to have a 7th and 8th stretch. That's far, okay. Thank you for having us in. I did have the privilege of watching the last council meeting, so I will try not to respond to that and just be straight up tell you what we do. I don't know if we missed a memo on the frequency that we should present to you, but we were here about 6 months ago, 6.5 months ago. So I just prepared a list of things that we've done in those 6 months. And I do have to back up a little and commend the city for investing in tourism. First Fridays is a great example that when you pour gas on a fire, it ignites. We also have 5 additional entities, and we have Besh Begawa that shouldn't be left out of the consideration of pouring gas on, because we just proved that it works. So let me continue. A lot of us work with little to no budgets. You read our paperwork, so you know. We work as volunteer teams. We barely have employees, but we do it the best we can. So I'm just so we're not here for a million years, everyone. Since our last city presentation, we were just wrapping up on the huge cemetery tour. That was September of 2022. Since then, and this doesn't include this month, we had a photography conference that was at 4 different locations. They stayed in the hotels. They took pictures, they brought models, spent money, paid the models, all of that. We executed the Ghosts of Globe tour, which is always huge. I can go into the definition of that, but I think you've all heard about that a million times. The Ghosts of Globe Midnight Paranormal, we did 5 locations, so money came in for that. People stayed overnight, not at the paranormal locations, but in the hotel. We kick them out around midnight, 2 o'clock, so they have to stay in their beds. We executed Kids Haunted House annually at the jail. That's all volunteer based and it's free to the kids during the Halloween block party. We execute the Halloween block party, which is from Human to Sycamore. And, we always bow to John and his team and all the city services that come and help us. We couldn't put that on. It's huge and it's a community event. We have over 200 different community groups sharing booths, in booths, at music stations, you name it, giving out kids. It's a free event to attend, and it's free. It does cost a lot in candy, this we know, but it gets people to walk downtown and look in the windows and be part of our downtown. So we also, moving down on the list, we put up the town Christmas tree, as we always do. The Santa and Elves event, which is our small business Saturday driver to get people downtown to shop during Small Business Saturday. We've been doing this, oh my gosh, I should have numbers on that, 15 years, 17 years. And that's a huge event. We serve just under 1,000 people that we see come through there, and their families. It's a huge, beautiful event, and the fire station for years and years and years has been driving our kiddos around the fire truck. So it is a great addition to that, always, they love that. We also kicked out the Light Parade, which is absolutely huge. I think Light Parade and Halloween are the 2 largest events we do have in our downtown, and we share that with the police department, so thank you, police department. They execute the end of the parade and that, and keep everyone safe at the end, so people aren't popping out onto the highway. We've also executed, now this is just the last 6 months, a car club tour with Model Ts, wrapped cars. We've given tours of the jail in the center with that. We executed the Easter parade and stroll, encouraging, and we had so many new people from out of town come to this. It was a different mix of people than we are used to, and it was wonderful. They loved it. We had fun helping them learn about our historic sites. If you've never done our Selfie Scavenger tour, they get a sheet and it's got different little bits and pieces of all downtown, whether it's plays on word with business names or what have you, and they have to take a picture in front of that business sign, and then they have to come back and report, or they get extra bonus points if they post it online. But it's an interactive to get people through our downtown, looking in the shops, and finding out more about our downtown. we executed a Corvette car show, another jail tour, and run with this Center for the Arts, partnership with the Center for the Arts. We did the Bear Run. Thank you for helping us close the street for that. We had, I think, 75 vehicles plus for that. And they did, it's beautiful. The men stop, their wives get out and start running, beeline to Pickle Barrel, just about. We offered a shuttle, the United Jewelry, they just go as fast as they can, shop as fast as they can. And so that was a beautiful partnership as well, getting people into downtown to do that. And most of them, this time it was different. They were like, oh, we didn't even know Downtown Globe existed. And a lot of the crew has been here. You've hosted it in the past too. They come in, it's a different mix of people, but getting them off the highway, a lot of them go to Pine Top or what have you, and they're just going through, but it's just another bump stop to get in our downtown and just shop and realize we have amazing goods at our shops. Another thing is we partnered to help with the Heel Valley Adventure Club, to bring them. They were bringing a busload. They ended up some of them wanted to stay overnight, so they didn't get on the bus. They came and drove separately. So Deb Yurkovich worked really hard on that project, and they're happy to assist. Of course, all the events we did in April, as with everyone else, the Puppy Fest push. We had our Bosabo Paracon. It was the second one. And we had a huge turnout for that, and they, of course, stayed overnight as well. And we had vendors, and we had, whether you love the paranormal stuff or not, they had great excitement. They had guest speakers, and people came from all over just to see the guest speakers, and they had writers, and they were signing things and all the rest. So it was a good push for that. And then they did 5 locations that night as well. We have partnerships with Bowie Plaza and different places in the Globe Miami area to continue that. So it's not just us, the triple effect happens through these events. We also hosted, as we do every year, the Copper Rim Elementary School Tour of about 130 kids, and that was a partnership also on our end with the Healy County Sheriff's Office and the fire station, police station. Everybody's involved in it. It's a beautiful thing to watch all those kiddos downtown, and the parents come downtown, and we gave out little coupons to kind of track who would come back. And we've had a lot of those coupons come back. They're driving grandpa and driving people in just to come back and see what we're doing in downtown. I have a number sheet if you want big numbers, but I've talked about in the past that we rent. We maintain the 1916 historic train depot. So ever since we lost the train, we still maintain the lease, and we still have found other ways to stay in the black on that, as black as we can. And so we rent it out, and we do that through private events, and we do that through paranormal, and we do that for a lot of different activities. So we have weddings, we have parties, and you name it. So just since I was here last, we've had 45 individual rentals, and there's a lot of work that goes into that, helping them plan them, helping the dates and all the rest. But some of those are weddings, some of those are big retirement parties. People are flying in from out of town, coordinating. But it just shows more heads to the beds. Another reason to come downtown to have an event in downtown. We estimate that our guest count just through that is over 5,000 individuals. And that's, every event is a little bit different. We know what they're planning, but we know some events, there's an extra 50 people that showed up. So we try to track it the best we can, but it's hard. So part of this list goes through all the different unique things that we do at the depot, and including the tours. We've just replaced our entire roof at the small museum building, so we're still doing more preventative maintenance. We have a renegade bat that we are trying to chase, but he will be gone soon. But every time we have a tour bus or tour group, we have to go in there and clean. My staff is tired, I've said that, but we'll get it. The sheriff's office in jail, again, we do rentals. We rent the courtyard behind. But we also are open to the public, and we have been open to the public for years. And we did have to scale back during COVID, but we scaled up the paranormal groups because they were coming individually, they were families or what have you, that could be locked in there during COVID and go through the rules. So our guest count just from our open to the public days are over 3,000 guests, and that's just in the last 6 months or so. We have for years, again, a regular second Fridays, a regular second Saturdays, and we work with several third-party tour entities to do a lot of cross-marketing and promotion from out of town. And I have numbers on all this, but I'll keep moving. So, essentially, the overall guest count between all the tours, all the rentals and everything at the Sheriff's Office and jail is about 5,000 as well, 4,700. That trackable, and we don't know the residual, of course, of that. Film projects, I'll just blow through this list. We've posted 3 music videos, 4 full feature films, shorts, docs, TikTok, photography groups, you name it. We've had over 20 days of acting film on, active days of them filming on set in our local locations. That means they're buying their food, they're staying in the hotels, they're hitting at Base Hardware, all the things that it takes to put those together. And they're flying people in. We had one film crew that they even had flown actors in from Mexico, and they just were buying everything out the storm. So we like to see them with shopping bags. It's a good thing. I have tons more numbers and stats, but you probably don't want all that in this discussion. But our general call list, we have people calling us to ask us about locations, ask us about events, ask us about everything. In addition to our Facebook, we have a huge Facebook presence, but we have it over several different pages. So our collective follower count is over 13,000. And we maintain that myself and a volunteer staff. The films, I've got a whole list, 20 different feature films that are on here. I won't go through them, but I can give you copies if you want. And this is just in the last 6 months. But I wanted to point out some of our partners with marketing. More so they came and do videos with us or things like that. So we worked, and Lacey from Wild Joy on TikTok, I think she worked with the Chamber of Commerce and some of the others at the EDC as well. She's got 293,000 followers. So our little jail video alone is almost at 13,000 views and growing. We like to see that. We've worked with a paranormal team that flew in to be here. They're at about 200,000 followers. We had a team that has a huge international following that came in to be with us at the jail. They're out of Australia. They actually spent the whole weekend with us, and their following just keeps going. They haven't put our video out yet, so we're excited for that. We've worked with Haunted Historian, which is over 30,000. And then we've been in talks with Ghost Hunters on Travel Channel to work out a perfect date for them to come. And we know the impact that we already had by just making a simple decision with Ghost Adventures that is still residual. We have people booking all the time. We just had another family from New York that came and stayed with us the whole entire weekend because they saw that show and they wanted to know who was standing and when they were standing and all the rest of it. I have 2 more bullet points that I want to hit. One is every year we give a whole list of save dates. I work with Ginger at the city, and we put our applications in early so that we can plan. So it's a lot of work to check with all the organizations to make sure we're not overlapping, and some people haven't decided, and we just want to make sure there's an even amount of events and we're not crossing over, we're helping each other, we're not hurting them. So that does take some time, and I commend Ginger for juggling all of that and being able to do that with us. And then the events team at the city to work with us, and John and everybody for the barricades and everything that it takes to put on all of these events. It's quite mighty. And again, most of them we do with next to nothing budgets. The last is I wanted to go over from the last meeting. I gathered that there's maybe a feeling that we don't spend money. We are a 501c6 nonprofit, not a 501c3. We are not eligible for most grants like everyone else that can get big grants and the money pours in. We have to hoof it. We literally have to sell tickets to things and do these kind of events to have money constantly coming in. So we are very reliant on the bed tax. Yes, we have money coming in because we've been hooking. We just got an extra $3,500 as a gift from the Paracon it was the group that was running it, picked us as the recipient. They could have just paid the rent to us and we could have just helped them and we would have been happy. But they gave us that, and that's, again, they want us to spend that on the restoration of the jail. But here's some things that we've been, working on. And some of it, we've got money we're trying to spend, but we can't get the workmen to come fast enough, so, you know, it's a wait, it's a bid, quote, and wait. But the landscape plan for the depot, we have been working with quotes and working on different landscape plans for the entire property. To get that redone and all the planter boxes redone. We appreciate all the work you guys do to help us in the meanwhile. But there's some good things coming there. We just, like I said, got the museum roof completely redone. That's not cheap. We're working on mini splits for the museum in the train depot so we can have more events there. In addition, because the depot, I mean, I have bookings literally, there's no Saturday left till after New Year's. We are doing a great job and we don't advertise it, it's all word of mouth, because if I advertise it, we don't have anything left to offer them, so we're trying to help. We probably have a list of 25 additional venues in the local area that I refer, probably at least 5 times a day I'm sending that list out to make sure people stay in our community. But it's word of mouth that we're doing a good job at the train depot, and I take that as a huge success on our end. So we are putting mini splits and working on the bride room and the groom room upstairs in the offices and trying to step that up one more step. We have custom, gorgeous, historically accurate, very, very expensive doors for the front doors and the 2 back sets of doors, which are being held together by Kip's trick that he taught me, lots of caulk. You just keep squeezing it in there, hoping the door won't fall apart. But we're at that point, so we've invested $20,000 already into this project. There's a lot of $5 tours it takes to get to $20,000. I'm just putting it out there. Right after that, he'll be working on the historic awnings that will be going at the depot, 2 back, 1 front to cover the doors. And they're all on the historic pictures. We are on the registry, so we're super careful about taking care of that. We've had an angel investor, which I'm mad at, but fill and pay out of his own pocket for sinkholes at the depot. We almost lost one of the Cobra Valley buses if you ever were over there, you know that this sinkhole and we had it tested, it just kept going and the buses their axles were going into it and it was a problem, and so we got that filled. There was another one happening in the middle of the depot because people pour through the depot parking lot. So those have been filled, thank you. Not really that mad at you, but. And then thank you to the police department for helping us with our homeless issues. And we've had to pay for a lot of windows to be fixed because homeless people, when you work with them the best you can, when they get mad at you, they just throw rocks through your windows. So we've had a lot of repairs due to that. So the police department has helped to find them a better situation than behind our space of residence there. So these are just what we've done in the last 6.5 months. I don't know if you want us to come back monthly, if you want us to come back quarterly, if we turn in our bed tax with the list and we have been tardy, yes, we know. But maybe we're doing too much, and so maybe that should change. I don't know. But I appreciate you very much, and I know it was suggested at the last meeting that our bed tax be taken away from us, and I would hope that that isn't the case. Just watch the meeting. It was very disheartening.
Well, we might have some questions, yeah. I wasn't at the last meeting, I didn't hear that comment about taking the bed tax away. I did not hear that, so I'd like to review that, if that was the case.
I would like it to be reviewed. There were some comments on there that were very hurtful, and I don't appreciate it, and my board doesn't appreciate it. So we work really hard, and I'm sorry that you don't see it sometimes. So.
And I'll say I appreciate everything you do. The visible things you do are there. You're one of the organizations that really work hard to bring events to the downtown. There's no doubt about it. Even not even you, having to present all that information. We can see the things that the downtown association is doing. So I apologize, I wasn't here, but I'd like to see what comments were made about the downtown and the bed tax being taken away. I really would.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I don't believe that we had a conversation about taking bed tax away from anyone.
It was several after comments.
After comments?
It was during the meeting. I will record it and put it on Facebook.
No, it's
if
on-
you'd like me to.
It's on YouTube. We can all look it up.
Yes, I've watched it, and I've had several people message me that they watched it.
Yeah,
And we're very
so-
excited about it.
So the people, like I say, and I'm not saying we didn't hear the same thing, just different understanding or spin of that. There's two sides, but Mayor will make sure you can get a copy of that.
I think we can also get a copy. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I mean, we were there.
Yeah, there were several comments.
Council, you're saying?
There, from council,
Okay.
yes. Not all about that, but there was entitlement comments, and there was several other comments, so thank you for addressing. I appreciate that.
Questions for Ned? Go ahead.
I'd just like to say that, a lot of what really brings people to town, like the ghost tour and, the Halloween, I mean, that's stuff that, I know it takes a lot of effort. And, so I don't think that you're ever in danger of losing your bed tax status.
I hope so.
They might have made a snarky remark because they haven't seen a report, and maybe that's, but I don't think the intention is to say that you guys don't earn out value, that you definitely value. And I know that how hard everybody works, and it's really important to make community, right? Because community is more than just having a place to spend the night. It's what we do together, how we commune and celebrate each other. And we went to the Center of the Arts play the other night. It was fantastic. It was fun. But all that takes different people working together. Yeah. So thank you for everything. And if you got paid for all the hours you put in, you could retire.
I do because I love this community very much.
Thank you.
All right, any more questions?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I would counsel you to have if you're gonna speak into the mics.
No, I just didn't know if there was a question about, follow up on the comment, but if this is a proper place to do it, or,
No, I would be happy to just find the link, send that to you, time check the idea, the start and beginning, the start and end. If it's not clear enough, we can do transcripts and send that to you, and we'll just everybody can review what was actually said by the council that night.
I like that.
Yeah, no, we can do that.
Mr. Mayor, the last meeting with Globe Downtown Association, they did all the work necessary on the submission of the documents. And in that meeting, I was pleased with what they achieved. And also that their work, I felt, was on time and was necessary for the submission. So I was very happy with the animation. So the review, in my opinion, and the submission was pro forma. And I was happy with all of that.
Mayor, I would, unless there's more discussion, I would move to approve the tax distribution request from the Downtown Association for the first quarter of fiscal year 2023 in the amount of $14,970.28. Second quarter of fiscal year 2023 in the amount of $1,447.56. Third quarter of fiscal year 2023 in the amount of $11,947.45. And fourth quarter fiscal year 2023 in the amount of $12,788.43, funded from account number 10-51-51915.
Second. We have a motion, a second for approval of item 6C. Is there any further discussion? Apologize for having you so late in the agenda too. You should have moved that up. This is a long agenda tonight. Sorry about that. Any other comment, any other discussion? So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Any abstaining? Motion passed. Thank you very much. Item 6E, consideration to approve bed tax distribution request for item D, consideration to approve bed tax distribution request for the Gila County Historical Museum request of third quarter fiscal year 2022-2023, the amount of $8,960.58, and the fourth quarter fiscal year 2022-23, the amount of $9,591.32, funded from account number 10-51-51925, General Fund Community Organization, Gila County Historical Society.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, this was reviewed 2 weeks ago, and again, we are moving forward with combining the third quarter request and the fourth quarter request so we can get this money distributed before June 30th and make our auditors happier with us. And this group had previously presented on their achievements and presented their to council, and so we were going forward without that presentation.
Without it.
Yes.
Wait for Mary, you wanna entertain a motion? You want a motion? I'd like to make the motion to approve bid tax distribution. On item D for the Gila County Historical Museum. Request for third quarter of fiscal year 2022-2023 in the amount of $89,6058, and for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2022-2023 in the amount of $95,91,432, funded from account number 10-51-51925, General Fund Community Organization, Gila County Historic Society. Second.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstaining, say nay. Any abstaining? Motion passes. Item E, consideration to approve bed tax distribution request for the Globe Miami Regional Chamber of Commerce third quarter of fiscal year 2022-2023 in the amount of $13,440.88, and the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2022 and 2023 in the amount of $14,386.99, funded from account number 10-51-51900, General Fund Community Organizations, Globe Miami Regional Chamber of Commerce.
So, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, again, we had initially presented this 2 weeks ago. Again, this is part of our cleanup to distribute the actual third quarter distributions and projected fourth quarter and get these distributed before June 30th. The chamber had presented, I believe, when they presented for their second quarter. And so in order to get these done, we had not asked them to come back and do a presentation. But they have done one this year.
Okay.
I would move to approve bed tax distribution request for the Globe Miami Chamber of Commerce for the third quarter fiscal year 2022-2023 in the amount of $13,440.88, and fourth quarter fiscal year 2022-2023 in the amount of $14,386.99, from account 10-51-51900, General Fund Community Organizations, Globe Miami Regional Chamber of Commerce.
Second. We have a motion and a second for item 6E. Any further discussion? Favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Any abstaining? Motion passes. Item F, consideration to approve bed tax distribution request for Corporate Valley Center for the Arts in third quarter fiscal year 2023 in the amount of $11,947.45, and fourth quarter in the amount of $12,788.43 to be
be funded through account number 10-51-51920, General Fund Clover Valley Center for the Arts.
Mr. Mayor, members council, again, we had spoke about this 2 weeks ago, and wanted to finish off the real distribution for third quarter and then the projected distribution for fourth quarter, so we can get these distributed before June 30th.
Mayor, I would just like to say, I did not have high expectations for a play that was about a spelling bee. But it was great, and so, I would be honored to make a motion, although there's no further discussion or comments. I move to approve bed tax distribution request for the Clover Valley Center of the Arts for third quarter fiscal year 2023 in the amount of $11,947.45, and fourth quarter in the amount of $12,788.42, be funded through account number 10-51-51920, General Fund, Clover Valley Center for the Arts.
Second. Motion and second for item number 6F. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any abstaining, nay? No votes, nay. Any abstaining? Motion passed. Item G, consideration approved library service agreement for fiscal year 2023-24 with Gila County Library District in the amount of $126,800 plus $1,200 for telephone expenses, for a total of $128,000 for library services. Rael.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. We brought this lot forward 2 weeks ago, and we're just asking for a motion to approve, contingent upon legal approval, because the county attorney and the city attorney are still in negotiation.
So, and just to clarify, we will be receiving the $126,800.
Well, actually, it'll be 1,028,000.
Okay.
Or 128,000.
Because, with the telephone number. Okay.
Then that is an increase of 4,900 from the previous.
Oh, there it is. I see the 128. Yeah. So we're not paying it.
And this comes from the county then?
Yeah, this is the county's contribution for the cycle. So this will be booked as a revenue source, and we thank them for that and hope that they increase that soon.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to motion to approve the library request for $128,000 for final approval contingent upon legal approval.
Second. Motion and a second for item 6G. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstaining, nay. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Item I, consideration to approve resolution number 1873 demonstrating.
Mr.
I'm
Mayor.
sorry, item H, I'm sorry. Consideration approval of an application by the City of Globe to the Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs grant for Border Security Fund Anti-Human Trafficking Grant ID number GF-24-57-05003 in the amount of $333,320 to be utilized by the City of Globe Police Department.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, I think we had a pretty good presentation on this 2 weeks ago, but we did bring it back because it's a grant application. We do have the sergeant is here if you have any additional questions, but I think we're ready to go. Again, we're hoping to receive that 333,000 plus.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to motion to approve an application by the City of Globe, Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs, ACDEMA, grant for border security fund, anti-human trafficking grant ID GF-24-57-05003, the amount of $333,220. I'm sorry, let me simply phrase that. $333,320 to be utilized by the City of Globe Police Department.
Motion and second for approval of item 6H. Is there any further discussion? Favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against say nay or abstain. Motion passed.
We have item I, consideration to approve resolution number 1873, demonstrating City of Globe Council's approval of the submission of the Arizona 2024 Governor's Office of Highway Safety Plan Grant number GF-24-57-05004. And Shelley, can you read the resolution 1873, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution number 1873, a resolution of the Mayor and Council of the City of Globe, Gila County, Arizona, pertaining to the submission of projects for consideration in Arizona's 2024 Highway Safety Plan, and appointing the city's chief of police as the city's agent to represent the city's interest in processing of related grants. Is council pleased with that reading?
Yes.
So, Mr. Mayor, members of council, again, we had heard this 2 weeks ago, and it requires this resolution as part of the application process. And so we would hope that you move this forward so we can, again, bring back more money to help bolster our already very effective public safety programs. We never have too much help.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to approve resolution number 1873 for the submission of the Arizona 2024 Governor's Office of Highway Safety Plan grant.
Second. Motion is second for approval of item 6I. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Any abstaining? Motion passed. Any late agenda items?
No, we do not.
Second call to the public. Do we have any online or email? Nope.
Not by phone, Mr. Mayor.
I don't see anything in the email. Nope, nothing in the email.
Thank you. Scheduling of meetings?
Yes, we would like to talk about availability for the budget meeting, the daytime meeting we had talked about. And so it would be that Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday in June. Let me pull up.
Is that the finance meeting?
This would be a daytime work group meeting on the budget.
Okay, for the whole council?
For the whole council, yes, it'd be a full council. And it would be, we do have Pat Walker and Tina Allen coming up to present to council. So it's a important one for everyone who's available to participate. So that's why we wanted to start now and trying to line up calendars and save the dates. And so we're starting with the 20th, 21st, or 22nd. Mondays are usually not a great day to have a meeting, and Fridays too. I'm thinking 2:00 start time. Maybe we do like 2 to 5 or something like that.
3 hours.
Yeah. Well, let's budget out 3 hours. So there's a lot that we're going to be covering, and it'll just be one topic, but it'd be working through a lot of different levels.
You said 20, 21, 22?
Yeah. That would be my preferences, but Mayor, when are you coming back?
I will not be back till the 20th.
Okay, is that early in the 20th or late in the?
I can't say.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about 22, 23. I'm sorry, 21, 22, and 23 then. So.
I'm okay with 21.
21 does not work for me in the afternoon.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me either. I'm playing lots of meeting, annual meeting.
23 is out, it's a Friday.
Yeah.
So
So
you're talking the 22nd.
so the 22nd looks like the winner. Does everybody? The mayor, do you think the 22nd will work for you?
I think it will.
Okay. All right. Well
I
then.
think I got some on 22nd, but I probably will be able to take the meeting.
Are those the only 3 dates that we have?
Yeah, we need to have, I don't want to push it too much past 22nd. We have to have time to take any action you direct and get it back ready for the 27th. And so,
27th is the next council meeting.
the 20, and it's tentative adoption. Right. So this is going to be the precursor to the tentative adoption. And we're not having it the week of the 12th because the mayor, when do you leave town?
The 10th.
Yeah.
So you're gone from the 10th to the 20th. And, whoa.
I have a vacation plan, but I don't remember what it is.
Okay. Well, and so,
I can get back to you.
yeah. Yeah, so we'll have, Shelley, we can follow up, and we gotta check with Jesse too.
That's past July.
Right.
Oh, I think it's in July.
So that's to work, try the 22nd.
Yeah, so I think our first choice is the 22nd, and
Send that out if it doesn't work.
yeah. We don't have any good second choices.
What time would it be on?
We're doing 2 to 5 so that Councilman Stapleton can participate.
I have a hospital boards that I can miss the finance council, so I'll just tell them I won't make it.
Okay, oh, well, thank you. Yeah. Then Shelley will send an invite and get with everybody and please, quickly respond, because I need to lock in Pat and Tina and we have this one nailed down. That would be great.
Yeah, I got to talk to you that day.
Right.
With you for tomorrow.
Okay. And if that won't work, then Shelley will work with you individually to try to find something that will. But let's keep our fingers crossed for the 22nd.
The other meeting.
No, nothing else on scheduling meetings.
And council, what group report to council?
And so I will tell you pretty much everything we talked in that work group was part of that budget presentation, bed tax, First Friday, and many of the other comments. So unless, who was, Mike, you were in that. So was there anything that we talked that wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was. So, yeah. So you pretty much.
Consideration of future agenda items. Motion to adjourn. Motion second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.